Hi.
Hey.
Sophia, so nice
Is that enough?
to accept my invitation. Welcome to the lair.
With pleasure. It is actually pretty cool. Although I'm really concerned about the brush sponge.
I'll explain it to you. I'll explain it to you very fast. I'm on a Reese. I don't know if you're into that shit. I don't know exactly what to think of all astrology, but I have a scratchy back, and it's an archetype for Aries people. And so when I didn't have a girlfriend, I was like, nobody's scratching my back.
What do I do?
So
You know, it's hard to find a back scratcher here in France. It's so weird to me because in the US, they're everywhere. You can find them everywhere.
Really?
And here, I have looked everywhere, and I only found one when that new normal shop opened up in Rive-Toile. And
oh, you want to pay for it? Oh no, that's not me. No,
you didn't pay for that.
No, I paid for that, but I
That's what I'm
didn't pay
saying,
for a
though.
person.
No. It's an adjustable.
Oh, you want the back scratcher? Like I thought you were talking about a person. Okay.
No, my God, what? Yeah, you can buy people in the US. No big deal.
No, here also, especially
It's
Chinese
harder
people.
here.
Yeah, but it's not very expensive, and also dark webs. I mean, 4,000 euros, you can have either an iPhone or, the iPhone 16, I imagine, or a Chinese kid. You can choose. It's, that you can harvest for then body parts and everything else.
You've looked into this, I can tell.
I've been on a dark web for years. Have you ever been on a dark web?
I'm one of those people that doesn't know how to get to it.
It's not that difficult. You need some software. It's
You would need software for it?
Yes, you need a specific browser. It's
I see.
and then you can see the dark side of humanity, and it's not. I don't know if it's that much fun.
Well, do you have a topic you wanted to start with?
Well, I mean, I have a topic. I have a topic because you told me last time that you're not going to stay here for long, which means that you have been in Strasbourg for 2 years, and usually I invite people who were born very far from here.
Yeah.
Now you qualify. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And I think both the culture in the US and both the European culture, we kind of have an idea of how the other functions, and it's completely off of what it actually is.
Yeah.
And so in 2018, shortly after I started the podcast, I went to North Carolina, and it was a cultural shock for me. I know
That would be a culture shock for me too.
I imagine. I've never been to California. I'm a huge fan of Schwarzenegger, and he was a fan of California.
Yeah.
Yes, and so and Terminator and all this stuff. And so I always wished to go, but I never went because it's expensive. And it's true. I don't know how you cope with it, but
It's worth it. That's why. It's worth it.
Sure. But it's I'm wondering how you see us, like how for somebody. So okay, let's talk a bit about you. So first of all, we know each other because you're doing stand up with us, and maybe one more before you leave.
Yeah.
And well, I haven't met a lot of women who are funny on stage. You are. So
thank you. That's a huge compliment, actually.
Well, I'm glad you think so. It was fun. I'm actually happy to have all the videos of everything we have recorded because I have recorded them, so I can watch everybody else, and I just where did they go wrong, and I can judge it for myself.
Smart.
And so I was,
Makes you feel better.
I'm very judgmental. I just have a poker face, so it's fine. And so I was wondering, you've been living here for 2 years, and I've been living here for 12.
Mm-hmm.
I was born like 1,000 kilometers from here, so it's not that big of a difference. But when I went to the States, it wasn't at all what I expected. And it's North Carolina, not California. I understand the difference. It's like France to Ukraine now. So
Kinda, yeah.
And you're leaving, so it's gonna end very fast.
So what's the question?
So the question is,
just curious.
When you came here, what was the cultural shock? What was it that you didn't expect? What was how do you feel about whole Strasbourg? You know it better than most of the people I know here.
Yeah.
I
actually know Strasbourg really well.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I first moved to Lyon. Yeah, I was there for a while, so I've been living in France for 3 years.
Oh, nice.
Total. I've been here for like 2.5, and then I was in Lyon for like 6-7 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a culture shock. Coming from Lyon to here was a huge culture shock for me. So, like, even that was...
Really?
Yeah, was a big deal for me.
Okay.
Because I think when I moved from California to Lyon, my reasoning was I wanted to get away from the shallowness. Mm-hmm. Right?
Shallowness, okay.
Yeah, I felt like...
That's going to be a good topic.
Yeah. I felt like... I was so angry with everyone. I was like, I'm angry with my friends. I'm angry with my, like, job, like, where I'm living, the lifestyle that is here. Because it was so much, like, drinking every single day and then getting really drunk on the weekends and, like, just going crazy. And then you just do that every single week.
Sounds awesome.
And it is. And it is awesome.
When you're 17,
and,
sure.
Right. And so when you're in your mid-20s and you're kind of looking for a partner, like, that's not the way to do it anymore, you know?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so I moved to Lyon, and I'd never been there, and I didn't know anyone there. Mm-hmm. And I told my family, I was like, I'm done, I'm leaving. And they were like, okay.
Okay.
And I think my dad was the only one that was like, you shouldn't do this. And I was like, no, I'm going. And so I did it anyways. And I just came and lived and was making enough money that I could support myself.
Congratulations.
Without problem.
Jesus Christ. It sounds
Thanks.
like yeah.
And I basically went out by myself every, day that I could, because I worked a lot. And I worked on the California time zone. So it was really difficult. It was like working
night shifts.
1 in the afternoon until 3 in the morning.
Yeah, I work with Americans. It's complicated.
Yeah, and we work really long hours. I was working over 12-hour shifts. It was a lot. And the company was like digital marketing, so it's not like it was a shift. It was like people from Russia and China like just messaging me like in the middle of the night, being like, "Hey, where are you? Why aren't you awake?" And I'm like, "Why are you awake?"
Profession? It's so.
Well, I left the profession,
I know, but
obviously.
But back then when you chose it.
Well, when I first chose it wasn't like this. When I first chose it, I was hired right out of college as a personal assistant and an office manager, and I was so excited about the idea. And I worked for the CEO, COO, and CFO of a company. Mm-hmm. And I, like, cooked all their meals, and I, like, did all their stuff. I took care of their homes. I made sure that the office was running, and I did all of that. And that was a really hard job. But then I just, like, kept pushing for raises and kept getting promoted. And then finally, I ended up where I was just the right hand to the CEO. Everyone else had been fired.
Okay.
And it was just me and him running the company. And it was too much.
How I became a CEO. Maybe you should write a book about it.
Yeah, because sometimes he would just leave. Like, he wouldn't even tell me. He would just turn his phone off and be gone. And, like, he'd be like, oh, well, I was on a flight to wherever the fuck. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I had to make all of these big decisions because you weren't here, And then he would get online and he would start yelling at all of our clients, like, you didn't do this and you didn't do this and you didn't do this. And I would come right behind him because we're online. Mm-hmm. Like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Like, I took care of this. I took care of this. I took care of this. Like, please talk to me before you go and, like, light fires.
Oh, God. Okay. So you were running a company at what age was this, if you don't mind me asking?
No, this was in 2018.
Okay.
So I was like, 27? 26? What year is it? 22? 2022? 26. That's 26. Yeah. But, like,
maybe
no
you should
training.
Start drinking. I mean,
right?
It's the antibiotics.
No, I want antibiotics.
It's fine.
No, like, no training at all. Just, they were like, here, you have to do this. And I would just teach myself how to do it on Google. So, anyways, I wanted, like, some culture. I felt like I needed some culture. And I thought,
of all the places you came here.
I went to Lyon. I learned French when I was in school. I loved it. My family was really pro-France. We had a very French cult. We thought we had a very cultured, like, French kind of upbringing where we all ate together and we liked crusty bread and we liked good cheese and we liked good wine. And so to me, I was like, this is Mecca. Like, this is paradise. This is where I'm going to find
what a choice.
Everything. And I was so disappointed. I was so incredibly disappointed.
It's just a country.
It's just a fucking country.
It's just a fucking country.
It's filled with very angry people. I mean, the people here complain more than any people I've ever met.
You gotta go to the south. The south is chiller. It's way chiller.
And I visited. It's nice. but they also don't like foreigners. Like, they're very, like...
Of course not.
Yeah,
No. They
none
don't like
of them
Americans.
do.
That's a difference.
I don't know if it is, because they also hate Italians. They hate Germans.
Yeah. Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like...
They never hated me.
They hate British people. Like, you just keep going down the line, and it's just like...
Yeah.
So...
German, Italian, British, and... those don't count.
American.
Let's be honest, Spanish people, they don't like it either. Cause
No.
It's like, yeah.
No, they don't. You know, so I don't know. Even when I went to Italy too, and I was there for like, I don't know, a week or something in Florence, and I met an Italian guy, and he was like, "Why are you in France? Like, that's insulting to me. You should move. You should move here and be with me." And I was like, "No, like, what the hell?" And then I went on like a tour. You know, like a Tuscany tour. We went to all of the little towns, and they all hate each other. And they're these tiny little towns. And they're like, oh, those people over there, they took over like one time 800 years ago, so we hate them. And then, like, you go into a small town, and even the people inside the town hate each other.
Yeah.
Because they all have their own little, like, plaque or something. It's crazy. Like, why does everyone hate each other here?
I gotta tell you something about this. I lived in Sophia, which is 50 kilometers north of Strasbourg, and I went to repair my car there, and the woman I talked to there, in her 50s, she was like, I was born in Wissembourg, which is another 20 kilometers. It's what, 12 miles, 40 miles, something like that. And she was like, yeah, when I got married, I started crying because I had to change villages. I was like, I moved from 1,000 kilometers away.
Yes!
I had to learn your fucking language. There's no difference here between, you know. But I think it's because travel was very different back then.
It's true. But even today, like, the young people I meet, I mean, the guy that I moved here for, like, refused to leave. You know, like, he went to California, and he was like, I would be so unhappy here, I can't do it. Alsace is the best region in the world, and we need to move there.
Yeah, but it seems like you would be very unhappy there, right?
What, in California?
Well, you said that you left because it's superficial, and I'm very interested in it.
Yeah, I did. And, I mean, I don't want to go back. You know, that's very clear to me. When I went back last summer for 4th of July, and you know, 4th
of July is special.
It is so special, and it's so important. I spent like a couple 4th of Julys here, and I was so mad, like so angry.
Nothing happens here.
Well, even so, it's like, I don't know, like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Why can't they celebrate something? Besides wars, like they're always like, oh, the war ended this day or this D-Day, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you celebrating that? Like, celebrate your independence.
Many people have died,
like,
that's probably why.
But like, that's not a celebration. I don't know. It's weird to me.
I can talk about that later if you want. I can actually answer that because I'm coming from, Hungary when I was born was still a part of the Soviet bloc.
Sure.
So I'm coming from a very, very communist country with a very communist mindset, and my parents they have lived through several wars, several occupations, thousands of people dying, similar to what happens right now in Ukraine, and it changes people very fast. And as long as they are living, you don't want to piss them off. Because these people have lived hard lives. So even at the age, or even of the ripe age at 82, they start, fucking going on the street and fuck shit up. So
yeah,
and that's probably why. I mean, we still have people who remember the Second World War living. Not many, granted, but yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
No, and I get that. It's just that I don't understand why there are so many holidays geared towards like military accomplishments. Like it.
What
to
else
me,
would you
like
like to celebrate?
Cinco de Mayo. I mean, like for sure. I feel
so
like
far from it.
I don't. That is literally like Cinco de Mayo is okay. Cinco de Mayo, St. Patty's, and 4th of July are my 3 favorite fucking holidays. I mean, obviously Christmas and Thanksgiving are incredibly important, but like party holidays, these are the 3. Okay. These are the 3, and they matter a lot. And like, no one celebrates those here. I mean, even like Mardi Gras isn't celebrated
it's
here.
10,000 miles away. What do you expect?
But Carnival could be really great, and some people try. I saw all of these events on Facebook events, like at bars, trying to do Carnival shit. Mm-hmm. No one does that. Well, they're like, yeah, dress up and we'll have drinks. No one dresses up. Everyone's like, oh, it's Carnival. I had no fucking idea.
It makes sense, but if you think about it, do you celebrate any of the Japanese holidays? It's closer to you. Japan is closer to you than Europe from California.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't give a fuck.
I like anime.
I mean, I do like some of it also, but, I have no idea what their holiday
Well, they have like their
celebrations
cherry blossom holidays, and I did that before, because in San Francisco it's really important.
Cherry blossom. And they start to blossom here in Strasbourg right now.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's fucking beautiful. It's actually...
See?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it shouldn't be celebrated. I'm saying it's so far, and 100 years ago, it would have taken us months to get to these places instead of like hours. I mean, I could be in California in less than a day, which is, in a day, something like in a day.
No, it takes 10 hours.
Yeah,
tops.
but think about it. In 100 years ago, that didn't exist. So we are on the brink of change.
That doesn't mean that you can't celebrate St. Patty's Day. Everyone celebrates St. Patty's. Not everyone, but people do. I've seen it.
Okay.
They try. They fail, but they try.
Halloween here, which is already weird.
Oh my god, Halloween too. Halloween is a great holiday.
Yes, it is. But
and no one really celebrates. They wear cat ears or some bullshit. I'm like, no. You need to be a zombie.
In the villages, they actually, and they have kids who are knocking on the door and everything, and that was so surprising for me because we don't do that in the city.
Yeah.
We hate everybody. I don't know my neighbors. I hate everyone. but when I lived up north, it was different. Kids were knocking on the door. We weren't prepared. We're like, we just moved here. Leave us the fuck alone, and we just want to build a studio. But we had some chocolate off of pack shots and everything. So
that's lucky.
Yeah. So we have found a way, but thank God we didn't get TP'd because that would have been.
TPing is for April Fool's Day.
Yeah, is it? Oh,
that's when I would do it.
Oh my God. You see, this is why you're here. So now I can learn all this stuff. So
well, and I think the point is that Americans find reasons to celebrate things. We really want to be happy, and there's a point where I recognize that sometimes it can be seen as superficial, but there is something to be said of just fucking being happy sometimes for no real reason. April Fool's Day is a silly holiday, but we like to celebrate it. Mm-hmm. So is Halloween. So is St. Patty's. Valentine's Day is the worst holiday. I will say that one is fucking bullshit because it's completely capitalist. It has nothing to do with anything really important, and it fucks over way more people than it helps. So that's the only one that I really don't like. That's clearly American.
One single man who liked to celebrate.
I'm
looking so forward to Valentine's.
It's so shitty.
It became obligatory.
It's also incredibly sexist. For both sides. I mean, really for both sides. Because women are expected to put out.
Yes.
That's the expectation.
Yes.
And men are expected to spend money on bullshit. So it's like, what the fuck? Like, this is a stupid, stupid holiday.
Yeah, but isn't it... if you just think about the mechanics of the whole thing, I would say, yeah, Christmas isn't that different. It's just we're used to it. Valentine's Day didn't exist 50 years ago. So it's, it's still getting into the culture, and it's I don't know.
It was picked up pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, of course, because we are
make money.
consumers market, so it's we are driven by advertisement and everything else. Don't even get me started on that. I wanted to talk about Lyon.
Okay.
What was so disappointing in France?
I mean, where do I start? No, I'm just kidding. No, actually, with Lyon, what was disappointing to me was so like I was saying, what I would do is I would go out by myself to bars and drink alone and then just meet people. I
thought you came here to meet somebody. Women don't do that. How did you have the courage to actually move to another fucking continent? Without really knowing the language, without money, do you speak French already?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was very shocked when I got here by the amount of French that worked. Honestly, yeah. Because I learned so much. And then when I got here, people were like, no. And then they would just turn around and walk away from me. I was like, cool, so you're not open.
You're too tall. That's your problem.
It was weird. It was a really weird like situation. But you know what? There were definitely times where I was very depressed, you know, and felt like I was like, fuck, this was maybe the wrong decision. But it's what I wanted, you know, and I wanted to push myself. And I did. So, and I'm really proud of myself for being able to accomplish that, because it was not easy going out alone
I
all the
moved
time.
here also, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't speak a single word like 50 words, something like that.
Yeah.
It took 8 times 4 hours. That's it. And I moved to France, and I was like, yeah,
let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this. And I moved here with the girlfriend I had at the time, who didn't speak any. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, I speak English. It's going to be fine. No, it's not going to be.
Yikes.
Yeah, and especially 12 years ago. Yeah. And I moved here.
Yeah, definitely.
No money, no contact, no job, no qualifications, because I was a fucking musician, and no language. And what do you do then?
Yeah, why did you do that?
I have a French passport, so
let's try it, see if it works.
No, Hungary is very close-minded. I don't know if you've ever been.
Yeah, I have, and I agree.
Yeah, well, if you understood the language, it's even worse than you think. It's still a socialist country in the heads of the people. I'm not trying to say that there's anything wrong with it, but when you're an artist and starting out, it's not ideal. Far from it. So when I was 24, I was like, it's time to move. Yeah. And so I did. And I was like, I have a French ID. I don't speak French. It sucks. My grandfather lived here for 12 years as well, as a political refugee, coming here in '56 after everything happened in Hungary with the occupation and everything.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we have been occupied by Russians for a very long time, and then when that happens, they bombed Budapest, and so he moved to Montbéliard, like this, at the old age of 18 years old. And met my grandmother, produced my father 5 years later, and then they went back to Hungary for, well, God knows why. So, yeah. So
nice
French was always present in my life, and ever since I was born, I was prepared to leave, and I had a wide opening towards France. And so it was stupid not to do it, because especially in 2010 when I moved, nobody fucking wanted to move here. Everybody wanted to go to Britain. And because they were like, yeah, you gotta learn the language, nobody's going to accept you, there's gonna be no help. And I was like, I'm good with languages, it's gonna be fine. I mean,
right.
How much time a language can take? I mean, in 5 days. Yeah. I grossly overestimated the job it takes to speak French well. But yeah, so I came here because of that, and I kind of got stuck. Because of everything that helped in my family, everything that happened in my family, and I thought that being close to Germany will allow me to be a rock star.
Well, especially with the music that you play.
Yeah, but it didn't fucking work.
It didn't take off?
Not at all. I mean, some of it did.
Maybe you're not near like the right areas of Germany, though. Like the grunge kind of
probably,
metal
and also
side is
well.
Not really
the problem
here.
is I'm a true artist in the sense of I don't give a fuck about my audience. Which means
you're like, you will listen to me play.
No, you're not going to get paid. And so it's very hard to continue this whole thing unless there's money coming in. And when you're in your 20s, you're like, fuck that shit. Yeah. In your 30s, you're like, I want a life. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, that's the shortest version of the story that I can actually give you. But there's so much more to it, and learning French, like. I gotta tell you this, and I think you will, out of all people, you would appreciate this. The first time I came here, I wanted to tell people that I'm the one supporting my girlfriend financially. Mm-hmm. And so I said, je supporte ma copine. And they were like, supporter means tolerate. Yeah. And they were like, well, it's a good thing because you're living together. But they didn't understand what the fuck I'm talking about. Right. Know? Stuff like this. Right. In comparison with the English language. It's crazy how close they are in logic, but how different they are in everyday speak. Speech. Well, I think speech. It's like the words look the same, but they mean completely different things. Some of them, sure. Yeah. Supporter is one of them, but yeah. There's a lot. So what was so disappointing? I'm so interested. What you liked? We gotta talk about it when you came to France. But what was so disappointing? Because I have a list.
Okay, in Lyon, what was so disappointing to me was that I met people, right? I met a lot of people. And that was great. And I actually was able to spend a lot of time with those people, but they just weren't, they did not, I don't even know how to explain this.
I can tell.
But they have their friends. They don't need new ones. And that's it. You know, so even though they have a great time with you, they like you, they will never reach out to you personally. You have to reach out to them. And when you do reach out to them, they're like, oh yeah, great. We're here at this bar. Come meet us. But they never messaged you to go to the bar in the first place, you know? So that to me, like, it happening all the time, it was so, like, opposite of what I was used to. Because when you have to reach out to people, it means you're bothering them, to me. Right? But here, it's like you have to push.
Take an interest. That's what it means. Especially if a guy reaches out to you, that means that he's interested in you romantically, at least.
Right.
Yeah.
But I had to push really hard. And it was like, I just didn't... It was funny to me because I hear all the time, and I still do, and it makes me want to rip people's throats out.
That sounds nice.
Because French people always fucking tell me, yeah, Americans are so nice, they're so great, but, you know, they just, after one night, like, you never hear from them again. And in France, like, you know, it takes a little bit more time, but, like, once you're in, and, like, that's your friend for a long time. It's more worthwhile, it's more meaningful, and I'm like, fuck you, okay?
I think it's true when you're a guy. It could be.
Girls tell me this all the time. And actually, I see it. I see it with women, especially French women, because they're very specific and they're very judgmental. Very judgmental. Yes. And so it takes you at least 6 meetings with them. And the first 3, they don't even fucking talk to you.
Yeah.
The first 3, they look at you. And they're like, And then that's the first 3 meetings. And then the next 3, they might talk to you after they've talked to other people about you at the party. You're at the party, you hear them asking other people questions about you. You're like, why don't you just ask me, you fucking crazy person?
I kind of come from the same culture, so yeah. Right. But it's interesting when
to me, I hate it.
No, let's not pretend that I understand how female hierarchies are built, because
men do it too.
No, but we have different hierarchies. Those I understand.
Right.
That's why I'm on the top of them, because I understand how it works. Women, yeah, physical things are kind of out of your possibility, and so there are several different layers to it that I
But men do it too. Like my roommate Matthew, like he's working. He moved here from Lyon. He's French. None of his French coworkers would invite him to things for the first, like, month that he worked there. And he would be like, hey, like, what are you guys doing this weekend? And they're like, oh, we're all going out to dinner. No invitation. Do you know what I mean? And, like, it took them, like, a month to warm up to him. And then, like, one person invited him to one thing. And then they invited him to another thing. And then they started inviting him all the time. And now they're friends. And he's, like, really happy. And I'm so happy for him. But in my mind, I'm like, fuck them.
No, but you have to open up yourself, because you're the one moving. So you are the one. I'm not trying to give you a lesson about this, but,
it's okay.
But this is what I learned about the French culture, or about people in general. If you want to hang out with them, you gotta take the first step. And since I'm an artist, I'm used to rejection, especially with the amount of women that I approach all the time. and so it doesn't bother me when they are like, yeah, I don't have the time. Maybe next week. And I'm like, okay. I'll write you next week. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I write you next week. It's like I'm taking the step. But I'm very extroverted, and I understand. It seems like to me that most people here in France are very introverted, and it's very hard to push them out of their comfort zone, because they really don't want to be outside of it. So so human connections, that was one of them.
Yeah, that was really disappointing to me, because I really felt like.
Is it still?
Yeah. I mean, I've met. It's not all French people, but I do think that they're the outliers, like, they're weirdos. And I thank God for them, because if it weren't for them, I would hate all French people. But, like, I know, I swear, because they just, when you have like these day-to-day interactions and you're trying, you know, like you're trying and you're speaking their language and you're talking to them, still treat you like you're stupid. Or they're like, oh, like, are you a tourist here? Like, I had this French guy, like, roll up to me one day. I was talking to my mom in English. And it was, of course, during, like, the Strasbourg, like, Christmas festivals. And he was like, oh, like, are you, like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I live here. And he's like, no, but what are you doing? And I'm like, living. And he's like, well, do you need help looking around? I'm like, did you just hear me? Like, I've lived here for, like, 2.5 years. I don't need your help. He's like, I don't find you funny. And I'm like, I don't care if you find me funny. What is your problem? Get away from me. Like, it was the weirdest interaction. And I've had those so many times where I'm to the point where I'm just like, you know, you guys can just shove it. Like, you can just keep it, keep your culture, keep your, like, all your bullshit. Like, it doesn't impress me anymore.
Yeah, I know.
It used to.
It used to. And if you look at the 60s and the 70s in France, it was pretty fucking impressive. And I'm not surprised that my grandmother, who actually is from here, she's like, everything is going in the toilet decade by decade. And now I kind of started seeing that. I mean, you've been living here for 2 years. Mm-hmm. For me, Strasbourg has become intolerable these last couple of years. When I moved here, I was like, yeah, it's so calm. Everybody's cool. You know, when you approach the sidewalk, cars slow down, just watching you and everything. I wasn't used to this.
Anymore.
Yeah. And then food is great. I mean, it's expensive, but it's all right. And then if you want to work, there's jobs, and it might not be what you're looking for, but you're not going to starve. And well, Hungary, where I came from, it's like my only possibility was to work for McDonald's, which is profoundly a Hungarian company, as we all know. Yeah. So it's like it was livable, and now it's loud. Too many people. It starts to be, allez, c'est fou là, je peux avoir ton 06. Yeah. No. And especially when on Boulevard de Lyon, which is right beside me, you have the Hungarian hookers, and I understand when they do.
Funny.
When they talk. Yeah, well, not that much when you're Hungarian.
No, I'm always curious where the hookers spend their time, because I've seen them around, but they're not everywhere.
No.
You know?
They,
so it's here.
Some of
Hungarian
them,
ones.
Yes.
The Hungarian
the Hungarian gypsies. Which is not the kind of gypsies you're thinking about. It's the Tziganes. So it's you know, we are very racist in Hungary, worse than here. We hate everybody, including ourselves. And
sounds like the French. Actually, no, they don't hate themselves. Never mind.
Yeah. And you know what I recognized when I came here? It's like in France, there's no France. You know, like I'm Alsatian. Yeah. I'm from. There's no coherence. Yeah. Outside looking in, you're like, yeah, you're all French. It's the French culture. It's we have painting pictures and stuff like that. None of that. None of that. I hate each other. It's so much. I mean, I find it funny, but it is sad in a sense. So yeah.
I have a friend like from Paris. She moved here and she was like apologizing to people when she was meeting them. When she first moved here, I took her out to some places, and she's like, "Ah, yeah, je suis parisien, je suis désolée." And I was like, why the fuck are you apologizing for being Parisian? Like, and she's like, because everyone hates us. I'm like, everyone hates everybody. Like,
yeah, but we hate the Parisians the most. That's true.
Oh, God. I don't think that's true, because Marseille is a really hated area as well. God. If you say you're from Marseille, it's like, you're not French even. Like, it's like not even that we hate you because you're a different part of France. You're not part of France. It's like fucked up.
For the first time I've been in Marseille this February. And I saw so much trash. It's insane. It's
still beautiful there.
It is beautiful, and well, it's beside. But yeah, but it's.
And there's some good food there, and there's some good people there.
Yeah,
good parties there.
They are very chill.
And the mayor there is like really trying to clean things up.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like right next to all some really great places like La Ciotat and Cassis and like
Toulon, where I stayed.
Fucking gorgeous.
Yeah. It's and the palm trees. That was the first time when I actually saw palm trees.
Cute.
I know it's not that, but I was like, it's like we're in California. Yeah. California, state of California.
Schwarzenegger's great though. I actually didn't like him when I was young because my family was like really anti Schwarzenegger being governor, because they're like, how can an actor be a governor? But he did a pretty good job. And then I dated this guy that was like super into like weightlifting. Mm-hmm. and he loved Arnold Schwarzenegger. And so we watched so many videos about Schwarzenegger that I was like, okay, he's cool.
Yeah. I mean,
I like him.
Who else can you list that who actually maximized 3 careers in one lifetime?
For real.
Crazy.
And
it's
who
crazy.
like left the military, like just went AWOL to go to like a competition and then came back.
That.
Oh yeah, he's really really cool. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, and he has a tank. So how wrong can you be when you have a tank?
Well, Russia has lots of tanks, so
yeah, but I don't no. I was talking.
So pretty wrong.
Well, yeah, but Russia is not. I didn't say California has a lot of tanks. It's him. He's the owner. He has his name on like. Can you imagine? Being an actor in a country where you can't pronounce shit? You just look buff.
Yeah.
Like, and you can talk really. And I'm gonna be busted for this, but I don't think he's a very good actor. I think he's a very good bodybuilder and he's a very good man.
Oh, he knows he's a bad actor.
Of course. And he wanted to make comedies. It's like, it's not funny.
Yeah. No, my God. Oh my God. The one where he was pregnant. Are you kidding me? Come on. That was gold. Or like Micah. What was the one where he was with Danny DeVito? Yeah. That one was funny too. It was like twins. That one was great too.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
he had
some gems.
But there's this Christmas movie.
Oh, that was so bad.
Yeah, that was so bad. There's a couple of things where it tanked so badly, and I started watching his movies when I was 9, watching Terminator 2 on a VHS cassette outside of Budapest. It's absolutely crazy. And yeah, at 9 years old, you don't want to watch it. It is a horror movie, technically speaking.
Okay,
isn't it? I mean, it's like a horror movie for me is about the inevitable death that tries to chase you, and you have no way of getting away from it. It's all about that.
Are we still talking about the Christmas movie?
No, I'm Terminator.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't really see
no, the Christmas movie. I'm talking about Terminator. I watched Terminator when I was 9, and I was hoping that all of his movies were like that. Like, he's the most charismatic people. It's like, you believed he's a machine. And it's just like, who the fuck has a back? Like muscles here, like that. It's just... Okay, so yeah, I'm a fan. That's why he's on the picture. I think 3 times.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh yeah, I have him everywhere. Because it makes me. It reminds me that there's a couple of speeches that he has given that that pushed me in a good direction.
Nice.
Jordan Peterson also, but him earlier. It's like
he's a good speaker.
That too.
Now, I mean, he wasn't before, but he's really like grown up.
Yeah,
know,
well,
like
he has taken.
He's a really good guy. I like him a lot now.
Yeah, and he has a tank. So I mean,
we don't like tanks in California.
Yeah, but me neither. But it's
they fuck up the streets.
Would you like to be this famous?
No, God.
No.
I don't even think it's possible anymore, though. To be honest, because it's I don't know. I've done a lot of reading about this recently because I hate Michael Jackson. And
his music was good, I gotta tell you that. But the rest of it, I mean, the personality, I understand.
That's the thing.
I understand, but the music is a part.
I get it. I struggle with that mentality because it's very, his music and who he was as a person are really together for me. They're tied together for me. And I watched the documentary on HBO about him. Me too. Leaving Neverland, and that was like, wow, that was so much. And I believe them, like 100% believe them. And so for me, it was like, wow, okay, not sure about that. And during that, I don't know, like you said you watched the documentary, so that's perfect. Because like during the documentary, what they really discussed was how the parents, like how could the parents leave their children alone with this stranger?
It was the 80s.
But the point was that he was so famous. Like, that it was like they knew him. It was like he could do no wrong because it's Michael Jackson. Yeah. How, of course you would, you know? And I just don't think we have celebrities like that anymore. I cannot think of a person right now where a parent would be like, okay, yeah, you can just take my, 5-year-old child and like be alone with them in a hotel room and that would be fine.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you're right about that, but I don't think we have a clear picture of celebrities today. If you think about what the Kardashians are doing, we don't see them as people. They are statuses, and when this whole thing very status, it's like
statuses.
Status. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. I just wanted to be clear about what you're saying. It's okay.
Status.
It's close. It was close.
I'm trying
No,
really hard.
you're doing good.
You
You're
have
doing
no
good.
idea. I started learning American English when I was 12. So it's I have a lot of discrepancies, and I'm trying.
It's okay.
Anyway, this story, anything that you can see unfold in celebrity magazines or websites, what we have today, these are not people how they are portrayed, as far as I'm concerned. I know a couple of famous people, like internet famous, Bogi, for example, who has gotten 300 million views with her song. You probably don't know her, but if I show you the video, you will be like, I saw that. Most of the people I know saw that. She wrote a song and she gets photoshopped on a video, and it was a couple of years ago when it was difficult to do this in video, and she got like out of the stratosphere.
Went viral and
went viral. One of the first ones in Hungary who actually went viral. She was my classmate in school.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I did a podcast with her, and so what it felt like to go back from concerts of 15,000 people in front of you to 70. Yeah, to 70 people in front of you, or 25, because it's crazy. And talking to these people showed me, I knew them before they got famous, and they didn't change really personality, thank God, because that would have been, but one of the reasons why I wanted to sit down with them is because it's important for me that you see the human side of the person I'm talking to, and it was a good way to show it, and you can't do that in a 15-minute interview. So it's hours of talking, and we went through a lot of subjects about what it feels like going that high and falling that low, and then restarting and trying to reinvent yourself, and then integrating your family into it and everything. So I don't think any of the celebrities we see, we realize that these people take a shit in the morning as well. And
but that doesn't. I don't know if that matters. I just don't think that people have that in them anymore to follow, because it was idol worship. It's like an idol. It's like you worship this person, they can do no wrong. That's why when people were faced with so much evidence against Michael Jackson, they still didn't care. They were like, it doesn't matter. He's the best. He's the king. It doesn't matter. And it's this idol worship that doesn't really exist anymore. People don't have that
maybe because it's
loyalty.
Maybe it's because we have way more information about this.
I think it is.
Yeah, it probably is.
I think Britney Spears was probably the last celebrity where people were really crazy about her. And then when she went downhill too, it was like, wow, what the fuck, Yeah,
she's just another girl.
Yeah.
After all, I mean,
yeah,
hundreds of millions of people watch her, but otherwise, she's.
Yeah, and it feels like there was such a big shift during that time period, and of course you still have children, young people. Now you have people that follow, I don't know, stupid, crazy things on, watching people play video games like PewDiePie, and you have
PewDiePie has been, has been already, but yeah.
But I know it's a has-been, but it's this is the modern version of kind of celebrities, and it's young people that are doing it, and they grow out of it, and then they're done with it. But then the new generation takes it over. But as adults, I don't think adults really.
Do you follow people like this, by the way?
No, I don't. When I was young, like my grandmother had the celebrity magazines, like Us Weekly and People and stuff like that. And even as a young person, I would flip through them, but I was like, I don't care about this shit. I don't really like fashion. I like high fashion, especially. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Why are you wearing that? That is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. When I watch some of the high fashion, fashion weeks, wow. Did they hit their head? Did they hit their head on something hard?
Some of these artists, they try to invent and it fails.
But you see these supermodels wearing these crazy things out on the street, and I'm like, okay, why not? Sure. But I would never pick that up on
most people, when it comes to, I don't know if you have any artistic prowess in general, but
me neither.
Most people have no understanding of what is quality art and what is the difference between quality and what they like.
Right.
And so, for the majority of my life, I've been producing music for over 15 years now, and some of it. So I had a point where it was peaking on YouTube. Anything that I uploaded, and so on one day I have received the two commentary one after the other is that you're the greatest composer that has ever lived, and this is the most fantastic piece that I've ever heard, and you should be in the Hall of Fame of rock and everything, and under it you should kill yourself. This is the worst thing that I've ever. And I quickly realized that you shouldn't take seriously anything that they are saying, because it's neither of them are true. One of them feels better than the other, I guarantee that, but they don't understand why I'm doing this, and that most of this is experimentation because as an artist you are standing on the wall of unknown and known, and you're trying to bring something to the known from the unknown, but you don't know its value. This is how I see it. It's sure. I thought about it a lot, and so when we are about that, there's a shitload to talk about all the cultures, and I'm so interested in seeing why you wouldn't go back, but. Okay, let's talk about that.
Finish your thought.
Okay. My thought would be how did you stumble upon the whole stand-up scene? Because not many women want to be on stage to talk about their feelings.
So I really loved. I think I'm very funny.
Yeah, I think so too.
I know it sounds super arrogant, but I think you have to think you're funny.
Yeah, because otherwise, why the fuck would you go on stage?
Yeah, but I've hated most female comedians. I have not liked most of them because they always talk about their periods, dating, and I don't know. It's just it's so. Don't you have anything else to talk about? Isn't there anything else pregnancy or it bothers me, and so I really wanted to be a comedian that didn't talk about those things, And
you don't.
And I don't.
And I think it's fun.
Yeah, I try to stay away from all of that. I try, when I am talking to my friends, I'm a storyteller. It's just normal for me to kind of do that. And I love to make people laugh. So when I do, I'm like, haha, gotcha, And COVID, I think, was really hard on everybody. Just really fucking hard on everybody. And so I watched a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race. I had never seen it before.
What? RuPaul's Drag Race?
RuPaul's Drag Race, yeah. I had never seen it before. No, I can't. I can't, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm still on antibiotics.
It's fine. I'll stop.
Thank you, though. I appreciate it. I had never seen it before, but it's been going for a really long time, 13 years.
I have never even heard of it.
So RuPaul is a really famous drag queen in the U.S. And
his name I know.
Yeah.
Her name? His name? I'm not even sure.
Well, his name, okay. But because he's not trans, but he is a drag queen.
Okay.
And so anyways, he started a show 14 almost now, 14 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it's a cast of other drag queens, and they do different things.
I heard about it.
Yeah, and then it's the number one drag queen now gets $100,000 and receives a year's worth of makeup from a really great makeup company. And all of this shit, And they get to show their art because it is an art. It's incredible what they're capable of doing, and they're incredibly talented. Mm-hmm. The way that they are, you have really funny queens that do stand up, or that are musicians, or that have all these other talents, do musical theater, whatever. So it's incredible what they are capable of doing. Mm-hmm. I started watching this series, and it really just turned my mind around, because I was feeling so powerless, and especially during in 2020, because in America we had such a huge Black Lives Matter movement. Yeah. And it reverberated throughout the world, and it came here a little bit, but in the US it was quite something.
Yeah, I don't think it really applies here. It's
it's a little different. Yeah, it's a little different. And I was really upset that I couldn't be in the US.
Really?
To fight for that, and so I was really struggling here. But I knew that if I left, then me and my boyfriend would not be able to continue our relationship. Sure. I didn't know when I'd be able to come back, things like that. Mm-hmm. And we were going to be getting married. That was the plan. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't want to give up on that, but I was very angry that I was here. I felt trapped, and I felt like there's nothing I could do. And so that show, like, it like saved my mental health, because it showed me that there are so many other people that are struggling just as much and are working through it in positive ways, you know. And one of the ways that one of the things they had to do was they had to do a stand-up. And I saw them, like, from beginning to end. They took a week, right, to write this stand-up. And they, like, really crushed it. And I was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
And so I looked up, found Dennis, like, found the comedy club and messaged him. And I was like, hey, I've done improv. I've done theater. I think I can do this, too. What do you think? And it worked out.
Yeah.
And it worked out. You know, so
how do you write, by the way? How do you come up with humor? If you don't mind me talking about it, because it's.
I feel bad because it should be. It should be more involved than it is. But when I first started, I think I took a week to write, and then I would record myself doing it, and then I would look at it, and then I would change it, because I can come off as very arrogant, especially when. It's just part of me. It's really hard because my family is like that too. We come off as very patronizing, and I don't want to appear that way.
Yeah, but was this your first experience on stage?
Yeah.
Yeah. You should come off as arrogant.
Right.
That's my issue. I can't come off stage, but on stage it works sometimes, especially when I play metal music. You know, you have to be convinced that what you're doing is,
It's more the patronizing part that I feel like is an issue, especially when you're talking shit about a country that you're in. I would try
leaning into it even more. Probably it could be funny. I mean, if you can play it. Well, I'm not gonna give you any advice, because why would I?
I do it. I mean, you've seen all my stand-ups. Every single stand-up, I talk shit about French people at least once, you know, and I think not this last one, but the one before, I was trying to talk crap about Americans first.
Yeah.
And then talk major shit about French people, just that they knew that I can talk shit about myself too. You know, it's not just French people.
Self-deprecation at the very beginning works very well, that's for sure.
Right.
And then, although it was like masked, right? Because I think what I did is I was sarcastic. I was like, I'm great at shooting guns. Like, you're welcome. Also, you're welcome for... You're welcome?
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay?
I'm here to protect you.
Yeah. Well, myself, but you could be here
also,
too.
You know, if you're behind me...
Yeah, if you're behind me...
You're welcome.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's so much fun. It's crazy. The first time when I started writing for stand-ups, I had this premise that I should be like a drill instructor for people who come to France. Actually, to tell you, to tell you what's fucked up about the French country, and even last time I had like 2 more minutes about what do you think is fucked up about the French people? Why are they like this? Everything is good here.
Yeah,
we have good food, weather is tolerable, we have nice house. What the fuck are they so angry about? I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Because why?
I ask myself that question all the time.
I actually asked this for at least 7 years, and then it started to dawn on me. I think it's the weather.
But the weather is nice.
No, not during the winter. It's not tolerable.
Ugh. I mean, come on. Like, you can't, like...
You coming from California, you say that. It's tolerable, but it's...
Because when the weather is
dark.
nice all the time, it's also really boring. Like, it's not great to have weather be nice all of the time. Like, I think I told you, like, we had to, like, turn the air conditioner on, like, really, really high so that it was cold enough so that we could have a fire for Christmas. Because, like...
What the fuck is that?
It's important, okay? It's not Christmas if it's hot outside. It's just how it is.
I had to turn up the AC very high so we could have a fire inside. It's like, let those battle themselves out. It's fine.
I know, and I really don't feel bad about it either. I tell people that sometimes, and they're just like, what the hell is wrong with you?
That's the same thing.
And, like, at my house, like, my roommates are, like, turning off the lights, like, when we're not, like, they don't have the lights on all the time, which I get, okay? It's fine if you're not in the room, but, like, if I'm just leaving the room for a few seconds and I'm coming back, I'm gonna leave that light on.
Okay.
But they're like, oh, let's save electricity. And I'm like, No, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Or like, why don't you have a heater? Or why don't we have air conditioners here? I especially during the summer, it's so fucking hot and
Especially
humid.
here. Oh yeah.
They don't even like having fans, which is like oh my god, like that was my first stand up, and I still am so angry about it.
Oh yeah.
Just kidding.
Yes, it's disgusting. I mean, two men.
I'm just kidding. That's really fucked up.
I
mean, just holding hands, that's not cool. Like,
they drank the same water that made the frogs gay.
God. Fucking Alex Jones.
I just watched.
He is such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I had to watch his show for school because we studied some of his work.
Have you ever seen the song that was made of his
voice?
His voice and the
screaming.
stuff that he was talking about. I'll show it to you after.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
It's fucking crazy because somebody just got his face on it and they sang over it, and it's a bluegrass or something like that. It's like very, very chill, and the whole thing is he's just telling incredibly scary shit. It's if there's anything that you should take away from today's conversation is that song.
Okay.
So I'll take care of that.
Okay.
Yeah. But so when I went to the States, it wasn't that big of a cultural shock to me. First of all, because I'm trying to immerse myself. Everything that I get as news comes in English, especially American. Because, well, yeah, let's be honest. You perfected the language. You perfected it. I mean, American people perfected the English language. It's y'all.
Y'all.
I
do actually like y'all. When I was young, I was like, that's Southern man. No, I'm not doing that. But now I'm like,
so Southern man.
But now it's like, well, you don't want to say you guys or you girls,
y'all,
because apparently that's not PC anymore. So.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
hey guys, that's not PC anymore because it's guys.
No.
But even if it wasn't, saying like you all is irritating. So I just say y'all. Mm-hmm. Y'all okay with this?
Y'all okay with
this? You don't have to say it with an accent. You can just be like, y'all okay with this?
You want to put a little twang on it.
Oh my God. This is what you do when you want to do an accent. You just like, you roll right into that Indian one.
Oh, immediately. When you want to be Indian, you know exactly what to say. Yeah. It's so diverse, and your country is so fucking big.
Yeah, it's so
crazy.
Big.
You look at the map of it, it's right there. It doesn't look as big. It's
huge.
Fucking big. You can travel 20
when you
hours.
Look at Europe, I mean all of Europe. Like it fits inside, so it's like, well, it's fucking massive.
It's crazy that you people speak more or less the same language already. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. But so the cultural shock for me, what made me disappointed. No, okay, let's start with the good things, because this is how you should, food was fucking amazing.
Really? In North Carolina? That's
we were
amazing.
Really, steaks. It's very sugary. It's very fat and everything. I was there for 10 days. For 10 days, there's very few places on this planet that you can enjoy. So and I was taken there by Epic Games. So high salary, the highest levels of hotels and everything.
Well, it's not very expensive in North Carolina, regardless. So you probably had the best of the best.
Well, yeah, but especially if they pay for it, it's amazing. But the people have guns on the street. That was fucking weird. Mm. Like, I saw a guy walking to Walmart with a shotgun, and nobody batted an eye. What? It makes me. Yeah, that's crazy.
We have a problem with that too. So.
Yeah, I think so. But otherwise, it's. The more I travel, I saw that people are pretty much the same everywhere. That's the outcome of my traveling, is that they want to be understood, they want to be loved, they want to be listened to, they want to be caressed, they want to be cherished, they want to be, I don't know if I said listened to.
You did.
Yeah.
It's okay. It deems twice, mentioning twice.
They want to be listened to. I don't know if I told you, but they want to be listened to. and so it's,
I'm listening.
Yeah. Also, they want to be listened to, and so it's very important for you. Every single person, and what changes? Somewhat the clothes, music, food is different because agriculturally, different stuff grows. But that's
also education.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, education is like really different, and it affects everything. It affects how they do healthcare. It affects how they eat. It affects what they think, how they vote, who their friends are, what they like to do for fun.
Is this the reason why you don't want to go back?
No, I'm very educated.
No. I already knew that. No, I'm not talking about that. But is it okay, so we have in Hungary, for example, and also I think in France in part, we have this idea of the states that is absolutely untrue. That we desire to be in it, but at the same time, we are very quick to say that all of it is shit. Everybody's stupid.
Yeah.
And then when I went to the States, it's the same fucking thing towards here. It's like, the British English sounds like you're from a high class, and well, the French, they are very romantic, and also the Italians. But otherwise, it's like, why would you want to go to Europe? It's shit.
Only the educated people like Europe. All of the uneducated people don't like Europe because they see France as being arrogant, and
Paris is.
I mean, the thing is like I don't know. I struggle with that now because when I first arrived here, I was like, well, people in France aren't arrogant. They're just like really brutally honest. Like when they tell you that your accent sucks, like it's because they're trying to help you. Mm-hmm. But now I'm not so sure. I think it is actually an arrogance because it's pretty deep seated. It's like there is this true belief that France is better. And that's not true. And it's really unfortunate because there are lots of things that are bad, about how their government works. And they complain about it all the time. And they're allowed to complain about it. But they're the best. Yeah, but they're the best. Though. Yeah. And they're way better than the U.S. And the U.S. should take notes. And it's like, excuse me, our country is massive. Yeah. Okay? Your country is this big. Your country is like... not. And I got in a fight with this about this with my ex because I told him California and France are basically the same size. One state, one of our states is about the same size as your country. And he's like, that's not true. And I'm like, yes, it is. And he's like, no, it's not.
It's not that difficult to figure out who are you going out with. Seriously.
And we did. We looked it up. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same size.
And it's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit bigger. And I was like... And he's like, see? And I'm like, it's a little bit bigger. It's like a little bit.
But there are almost 70 million people in both sides. So what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah. And I'm like, so the fact that we can't get a healthcare system like the same as France for all of the U.S., I'm sorry, why are you complaining to me about this? And you guys complain about your healthcare system all the fucking time because it's actually not that great. I went to the emergency room recently and I was told I'd have to wait for 5 to 6 hours. And I thought I was going to die.
Oh, you have to speak really good French. And then
the girl at the front was a bitch. You know what I mean? And laughing with her friends. And I was like, I think I'm going to die. I have this kidney infection.
Oh, God.
And nothing. She's like, well, it's going to be 5 to 6 hours. I'm like, well, is there a bathroom? She's like, no. And I'm like, then I'm going home. And I'm going to die in my room. And it's going to be your fault.
Oh, God. Wow. Now, you see, I never had that experience.
Sure.
Never in my entire life. And I think it's probably because... I don't know if the French are sexist or it's because they are very nationalists, but it can. I speak a fairly good French, not perfectly good, but fairly good. Mm-hmm. And I'm a guy. I'm not imposing. You might be.
A bit.
A bit. And then what I learned about the French bureaucracy, which is the worst part of their culture.
I like the prefecture though.
Really?
Best experiences at the prefecture.
They liked you there because they
right?
Didn't. Yeah, I the worst for me. Okay, we have really like black and white.
Yeah.
Okay, why would you go there? It's like
I turned in my visa.
Oh, for the visa. Oh yeah, I don't have that shit. But when I had to take care of car papers, 5 hours of waiting for one signature. That's it. And it was like, the fuck is wrong with you people? We could have done this on the internet.
Yeah.
Why? Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Except for they hate technology here. And any sort of
you
innovation.
haven't been to Hungary. I'm very happy with what they have. It's behind, but Hungary is so much worse. I saw worse than that.
To me, France is so far behind, and they are so concerned with their nationalism and not losing anything that they refuse to move forward.
Yeah, that's the best description, and I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
It's disappointing to the extent when they try to preserve their language to the point where it's so difficult to learn that they are losing ground, and so less and less people speak it, and it's crazy. I don't understand.
Yeah, I've literally gotten in so many fights. Like so many arguments.
A lot of fights.
I do because I don't like. I'm not for it. You know, like as a person, I feel like it's really not okay to be like underhandedly sexist, and the French have that like down pat. Like they are so sexist, but it's like it's hidden. It's like a hidden sexism. It's hidden beneath jokes.
How? I have never
like for example, I was with my ex's coworkers, right? And they're very sexist, and I am aware of that. I still like them very much, but to me, it's like okay, whatever. Anyways, I was with them, and
I cut it out. I don't care.
No, it's
but
fine.
I'm interested in the story.
No, I'm gonna tell you. No, like my ex wanted to leave, right? He wanted to leave, and I was like, okay, let's leave. But the French say goodbye for 30 minutes. You know, like when they say they're going to leave, they don't actually mean it. They stand next to each other awkwardly and they continue to talk and have full blown conversations. It's not like, oh, hey, like, do you want to do something next week? It's like, oh, hey, did you read that article in Le Monde? You know, it's like they're actually having these
in the doorway.
In the doorway.
Yeah.
And I have my coat on. I've already like kissed everybody. I'm like, we're out. We're leaving. And his bosses are like, oh, I guess we see who wears the pants like in the household. And my boyfriend was like, what? That's not true. And I was like, well, are we leaving? And he was like, well, looks like you're leaving.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I guess I am leaving.
We're not gonna get there. But why did you break up? No, okay, it's no. I don't want to know. But
no,
this is not a good dynamic.
No, it's not. And again, he was the one who wanted to leave, and so to me, I was like, okay, I guess I am leaving, and so I left. And they continued.
Oh no!
I had already said goodbye to everybody. So to me, I was like, this is awkward now because I've already said goodbye to everybody. Now I'm just standing here, and you guys are being assholes. So I'm leaving. So I left, and then I waited for him, like right around the corner, because like we would walk home together or something. He doesn't come. He doesn't show up. I wait for him for like 15 minutes. He doesn't come. And apparently, like, that whole time, they were talking shit to him about how, like, you know, like, oh, you're going to follow her, aren't you? You know? And so he wouldn't. So he went to another bar with them.
Oh, no.
And he wanted to leave. He was the one. This is so incredibly sexist. I mean, this is just so stupid. And it's sexist to him. And I honestly don't really care because I'm like, whatever, fine. You think I wear the pants? I don't like, that's not, we both wear the pants. It's not like, it's not a power problem.
I mean,
There's no power problem here. He wants to go home. I'm okay with that. We're going home. There's no power dynamic issue here. And you're making it a power dynamic issue. You're insulting him. You're embarrassing him. And he is so weak that he cannot stand up for himself and be like, no, I wanted to leave.
Oh, God.
So instead, he goes to this other bar. And then his coworker, one of them, comes past me. And he's like, hey, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, I was just waiting for Baptiste. He's like, oh, he went to another bar. And I was like, great. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
And he, like, was... And I didn't have my keys, so I couldn't go home. So I was calling him, trying to figure it out, couldn't find him. And I was like, well, which bar did they go to? And he's like, well, I think they went to this one. So I went to that bar, and he's not there. I talked to the bouncer. They're like, oh, yeah, they came in, but then they left. They went to another bar. And I'm like, are you fucking joking? And so he finally calls me back, and he's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, are you serious?
I don't have keys to go home.
Yeah, like, I don't have keys. Like, you said you wanted to go home. He's like, yeah, well, I'm walking that way. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, God.
But then I'm angry. Like, now I'm upset because I feel like, okay, you are easily ruffled. You know, because you still see yourself as needing to be authoritative over me. Mm-hmm. Why?
Yeah.
That's sexist. And so anyways, and there were lots of things, you know, his best friend wouldn't talk to me, wouldn't look me in the eye. He would refer to me as Sophia, as Baptiste's girlfriend, even though I was standing there.
Oh.
Like, he was, and when I talked to Baptiste about it, he's like, you're overreacting. And I'm like, I don't think I am. He literally won't, like, talk to me.
It could be because he liked you too much.
No.
No, okay.
No.
That happens in Europe.
What he said was like, oh, Francois just doesn't want, me to feel like he might be hitting on you, so he just doesn't talk to you. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, I'm your possession.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not my own person. Oh my God. I mean, the amount of times that I've dealt with this, it's crazy.
In 12 years, I have never met people like this here. Or if I have...
I'm just lucky.
Yeah. Well, I was lucky also with French women. Don't worry about it. That's a whole another story.
It is, actually.
Oh, God.
Because I don't think it's their fault.
Whose fault it is then?
Birth control. Swear to God. Because I was on birth control here, and I was crazy. I could tell. I could tell I was crazy. Because I know when I'm not crazy. Because I was in birth control.
What about the girls who are in birth control?
That I don't know. I'm not sure about. But I know for a fact that the birth control here is debilitating.
Okay.
For women.
It might be.
They literally cannot. It's like you don't even understand why you're mad or yelling.
But you're mad.
But you're mad and you're yelling.
Yeah.
And you're crying. Like, I went off of it. I was like, well, this is completely fucked up my life. I'm done with it. And I have never been, like, more stable, which is great. Although now I have to worry about getting pregnant all the time.
Or not having sex whatsoever, and then not having any fun in life. And then, yes. Yeah. Well, there are the stand-up comedy shows, so it's
There's
something.
There's something.
But we're not doing it often enough. So,
I know. It's once a month. That's not enough.
Yeah.
No, and I've had some Frenchmen recently try and get me pregnant on purpose. I swear to God, it's like they're...
No.
Yeah, because they know I'm leaving. And they're like...
Oh, no, you're going to stay. I'm going to tell you how you're going to stay.
And when I try and bring this up, they get very offended. And I'm like, well, then stop trying to get me pregnant. Like...
That's fucked up.
It's super fucked up.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's really fucked up.
I never heard a single story like that before.
Because it's usually the girl, right, that's trying to, like, pretend she's pregnant to, like, secure a man. And here, it's
I never had that either, but it's,
in the US, it's
like, yeah, but I'm 36, so usually I hit on from 26 to like 36, something like that. And those girls, either they have kids, or they desperately want one, or they don't want one at all. And so all of them are very clear pathways.
Right.
And those who want one, and they are desperate because I'm 30, they say, I don't have much time. And it's like, it's like, that's attractive as a Dacia Logan. It's not a good car that you want to be attracted to. And for the rest of it, I don't want to date somebody who has kids because I get to choose. And the other part of it is I would like to have some kids. So it's a very complicated issue. But French girls, they are, I don't know why they are so fucked up here. They are so very weird.
I've heard.
And everybody's brutally fat, which is
fat
to me. Yeah. Well, look at me. I mean, I'm 67 kilos. I'm not. Yeah, but
do you mean like on Tinder or something? Because when I'm around the city center, I don't see a lot of fat girls. Overweight girls.
You don't. I come from a culture where you don't approach people on the street. You can approach them, for example, in concerts or I use the stand-up comedy nights to meet people, for example. But in bars, because but I'm a rock star there, so it's obvious, you know. I went on stage, I take care of the whole night, it's like and so there's some. I do. I just
mean you can't hit on other people when you have someone with you.
Oh no, I hit on people all the time.
Okay.
It's so before I get into this, how deep are you into all the astrology thing? Because
not very. I'm a Pisces.
I know. You had just had your birthday, by the way.
Thank you. I'm very aware that I'm a Pisces. I believe in it to that extent. You know what I mean? Like
there's a character to it.
There's a character to it. And I normally, if I'm dating somebody, I find out when their birthday is and kind of look into that and see if there are any similarities. But I don't like hold them to it because I feel like everyone's different.
Yeah. You're pretty much at the same spot as I am when it comes to this. It's it's complicated because so much of astrology is bullshit. It's very obvious, but some of it isn't.
Yeah,
and it's very hard to filter out what you should trust. There are websites that are more trustworthy than others, if you ask me. So I'm on the Reese. It's the worst sign to be, because you're always head on to anything that you figure out. And so every single time I date somebody, the first thing that I say is that, I'm very flirty with everybody. I like to be liked. And I'm not going out with women who don't like to be liked. Mm-hmm. So what matters to me is who touches you, who you go home with at the end of the night. But
right.
It's just like, just because we're together doesn't mean that you cannot be liked by anybody else, and you don't want to go out. It's a Patrice O'Neill routine when he says that you don't want to go out with a girl who you can send through the alleyway at 3 o'clock in the morning, and because you're sure that nothing happens. It's like you want exactly, but it's kind of true.
There's a better way to say that.
I want to go out with attractive people because that's what I'm attracted to.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And so those people who don't get attractive people to go out with, they can go out with the rest of them. But I want people I like,
right.
At least. Yeah. And so it never has been an issue. When did you join the Illuminati?
It's been about 2 years.
That's the most seamless answer that I've ever received out of anybody I've ever asked. Because it's crazy to think about it. Yeah. So you're leaving for Amsterdam because Strasbourg wasn't. It's usually when I see women leaving, it's because of a breakup. So I think it's a part of it. Probably.
No, that's not fair, because we broke up in January of 2021.
Oh, that has been a long time.
And I stayed.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to, because maybe I was being I'm very stubborn. Maybe I was being a little stubborn.
Pisces girl.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I fucking came here. Like, I'm not leaving just because we broke up. This is my city. I know the city better than you. Okay, so we broke up in 2021, and I wanted to make sure. So while we were together, he really was upset with me because I wasn't working and I wasn't going outside and I wasn't doing really anything, and I didn't really have any friends. Now, all of these things were entirely his fault. I'd like to point this out.
Yay!
Not entirely his fault, but pretty much his fault, because I'm not allowed to work in France. Mm-hmm. So there's that, and COVID meant that we weren't supposed to go outside. We were only supposed to go outside for an hour at a time.
To work in France, seriously.
America just does not have that agreement.
No, I do understand that you will not be hired, but there's a shitload of things that you could do.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not. My visa forces me to write a document stating that I will not work in this country.
Oh, okay. That sucks.
Right. So.
Okay, so the French
and he didn't want to get married or paxed, which meant that I couldn't work here. Mm-hmm. And that's fine, and when we originally discussed things, we were going to get married pretty soon after I got here, and then it turned into, I want to wait. I don't want that to be the reason. I don't want the reason we get married to be that you need to be able to do stuff. And I'm like, what? You mean stay here and work? Because those are kind of fucking important things.
Yeah, but then it becomes a very good excuse for breaking up. You're not working. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. And not leaving the house. And again, COVID was really, we weren't supposed to. Mm-hmm. We were not supposed to leave the house. Mm-hmm. So that was really big for me. How am I supposed to make friends when everything's shut down?
Yeah.
So whatever. Anyways, but I listened and I started my women's group, right? And so now I have this Strasbourg women's group for international women. We have 200 members.
Wow. I have no idea about that.
Yeah. And I did that. Okay, I did it.
Yay!
And I started it in June of 2020. Mm-hmm. And I did everything that whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is that it wasn't enough. And then he was getting angry that I was out all the time. It was just bullshit. So I didn't want to leave when we broke up. I really thought that he was kind of joking, to be honest. I was like, well, you'll come back to me because this is ridiculous. His mom hates me, and so I knew his mom had gotten in his ear. She did not want us to be together from the very beginning. And it was true. that was exactly what happened. And then his sexist friend also didn't like me, and so all that shit. And anyways, I expected him to come back, and I had a lot of friends here, you know, like a lot of girls that I really liked, and I didn't want to leave them. And I didn't want to go back to the US. So I was like, no, I'm staying. And actually, when I originally moved here, I was going to start a tourism business.
Yes, that's the one I know about.
Yeah. And so I was hoping that COVID was going to blow over and that I would still be able to do that. And then it just wasn't blowing over. You know, this last year, all of 2021, Jean-Baptiste did come back, of course, a few times. I think he's broken up with me 5 times now. Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking hysterical.
You have a lot of patience.
Yeah, every time he breaks up with me, too, it just gets funnier. Like, this last time I just laughed. I was like, okay.
Okay, fuck off.
I'm like, but you still love me? And he's like, I do. And I'm like, okay, this has been great. Thank you for bringing me out in the cold to talk to me about this.
Oh, God.
Just like, you are such a fucking idiot.
I didn't know that this podcast was gonna be this dark.
It's so good.
But you're bringing the worst out of French people. These are the stories that I'm hearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't go out with guys, so I have no idea.
They're very insecure in this country.
Oh,
I am shocked by the insecurity of men in this country. And I think it stems a little bit from the sexism because they feel like there should be authoritative over women. And that's kind of why they call them crazy. Even though the French women are a little crazy. I do get that. I have seen it. But
they are hysterical.
The insecurity that I have seen from men here is alarming.
I think it's a lack of father figures on both ends. Because women, you know that. Okay, here's a frightening statistic that I have read 5 years ago. The highest amount of molested children are around here from the last 10 years.
Wow.
Genuinely women. And you can feel that they have zero trust in guys. And so guys are going way overboard or not at all. And so that's what I see. There's no subtlety here. There's no, we just go out dancing. There's no touching. Immediately it cuts to, and it's, what the fuck are you doing? But seriously, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, try to just hold her hand first to see if she likes you or something. I talk to guys here about how to approach women. Me, who learned it here as well. So it's like, I understand that, but I never thought it would be this weird. And then I had friends from Hungary who came here to visit me, and they met my friends here, and they have had horrific experiences. Horrific. Absolutely the worst. But apparently, French guys aren't exactly calibrated on that, and I think it's the lack of father figures.
I haven't had that experience. I've actually had more of like, it's like, they don't, it's like, okay, like this guy that I've been seeing recently, I thought he was great. I was really stoked about this because I was like, okay, cool. Finally, like someone that's normal. But then he's like apologizing all the time for like everything. And then it was like, well, you're so perfect. I also want to be perfect. And then I get stressed and then I can't perform. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh.
Or he would be like, well, why, like, like I'm going to go out with these people. Like, are you jealous? I'm like, no, I'm not jealous. He's like, oh, are you sure? And I'm like, do you want me to be jealous? Like he wants me to be jealous of him.
A jealous person lacks self-confidence.
Right.
That's stupid.
And I'm telling him, like, you should go see other people because I'm not staying here, number one. Number two, I'm seeing other people. So you should also see other people. And at the time I was still sleeping with my ex because he came back again. And I was like, whatever, if you think that I'm the only person for you, then we can try it, but you have a lot of shit to do before I trust you again. And his whole thing was like, well, that's not very romantic. Like, you're thinking logically. And I'm like, yeah, Because you remember that time when I wasn't thinking logically and I moved here from my country and left everything behind and couldn't work and couldn't do anything and left all my friends.
That worked out great.
That worked out fucking great for me. So I'm not doing that again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the insecurity. And he's like, well, every time we sleep together, I feel like you're probably sleeping with other guys. I'm like, why are you thinking about sex with other guys when I'm having sex with you? Like, what the fuck?
That's a very good question to ask.
That is so weird. That is so weird.
Yeah, I know.
Get over it.
Oh my god.
It's fucking weird.
It's crazy. That sounds crazy.
I could do a stand-up about the dating here, but I choose not to because, I don't want to be one of those girls. And also because, it's just... It's sad. It's like not... It's funny, but it's like not funny.
How did it compare to you? How did it compare to what you experienced back home?
Oh, that shit was funny. I mean... my last relationship back home was very abusive.
Ooh. Like
mentally and emotionally abusive. So like he wanted me to work out all the time because he was working out all the time. But like I actually was doing really well and like losing all the weight that I wanted and doing everything that I needed to do. But he wasn't. And so instead of being happy for me, he would like go through my fridge and like be like, why do you have this? And why do you have that? And throw things away. And, like, get on me about what I was eating and, like, how I looked. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And then he was, like, trying to, like, you shouldn't hang out with your parents because they're bad influences on you. And, like, you shouldn't hang out with your friends because they're bad influences on you.
That's a full-blown sociopath.
It was really bad. It got really, really bad. And I actually moved. I mean, like, that was another reason why I moved to Lyon. Because
my God.
I couldn't, like, escape him. Like, I just couldn't break the cycle. And he actually broke up with me, and I still couldn't, like, let it go. So I moved.
Yeah, my last breakup was similar, so.
Really?
But, yeah.
With a woman? I mean, with a woman, because I know you're not gay, but I'm surprised that a woman would be controlling in that way.
Me as well. So now I filter for sociopaths.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, yeah, you see the flags now. And
some of them.
When I was with my ex, because obviously my family and my friends were like, this is not a good person for you to be dating. And I was like, yeah, but I'm working out a lot. Like, my body's never looked better, and...
He's probably attractive, because...
Yeah, he's a very attractive guy.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, he wasn't actually, like, the most attractive guy, but he was also, like, just really... Like, he was funny in his own way. And he was, like, the youngest of, like, 4 brothers. And his oldest brother was my boss. It was a mistake. Ooh. But the thing was that in the beginning, it was so fine. I still saw those things happening. And I felt like he really believed like he was trying to help me. And I thought...
Same story.
Yeah, I thought like, okay, well, this is actually helping me to make compromises, right? Because I recognize that I'm a little like too much. Sometimes he is like really over here. Making a compromise could be good for me in the future. Am I going to marry this guy? Absolutely not. But I could, like, work on my relationship.
You still went on.
Oh, absolutely. I usually date guys for about 2 years. And I decide at, like, a year and a half whether or not this relationship is going to work. And then I spend...
Sounds like you're 17 instead of whatever you are right now.
No, I mean,
2 years is a lot of time.
It is, but, I mean, I'm done now. In fact, before I met Baptiste... I told him, like, well, not before I met him. When I met him, I told him, unless this is going to be serious, unless you are serious about this, leave me the fuck alone. Because I don't have time for this. Yeah. And because at this point, I think I was 20, I was like 27, almost 28. And I was not having it. I was like, no. I said after that fucking asshole guy, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not dating like this anymore. The next person that I'm with is going to be my life partner. And I talked to Baptiste about it, and he was like, I'm not scared by that. Yes, I do want that. Cool. That's what's going to happen. And then he did everything. And then he got cold feet and freaked out. And,
oh, no.
Well, yeah, this is my ex. This is Baptiste, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so, like, he fucked me more than anyone has ever, right? Because I'm here. And when you're in a place away from your family and away from your loved ones, like the people that love you no matter what, when you're away from all of them and they're replaced by people that don't like you, like his mother and his family, you start to, yeah. And you're in a country where you don't speak the language 100%, and you don't have the ability to really make your own friends because of COVID and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was like earth shattering for me. That was really, really hard. I had to pick up a lot of pieces. And then for him to leave me was like, wow, you know, me having to find a new place to live, having to figure out how to be alone in this city was a lot. So I like don't think I could ever really forgive him for that, which is why when he came back to me like the past few times, I've just been like, you can try. You know, like you can try and you should because I deserve that.
It's kind of fucked up. Yeah. What you did. Okay.
But like there's so little chance that I would agree to this. I need you to know that, you know, starting, but you can try and let me see what you have to offer. And what he has to offer is fucking nothing. You know, he has nothing to offer. So it's very...
Except that he's probably attractive because otherwise you wouldn't sleep with him. But yeah, besides that, I know. And the prospect.
The problem I think is though, like when you date somebody like that, like when you like want to be with that, like you think that person's going to be like your husband and you're going to have children with them and you're going to grow old with them, you lose the ability to like find other people like attractive in that similar way.
Yeah, but that doesn't last that long.
It went away.
Yeah.
It went away. It took time, but it's like I see him now and I know that like he's not like who I want to be with, but there's that like thing in the back of your head that's like, oh yeah, but he was though, you know, and so it just like shoots you back on that path a little bit. And you also know their body, and that helps, and at least physically you trust him, so yeah. Although sex together, like when we were together, was horrible, and then recently,
I think this is gonna get caught.
Recently, it was, but like recently it was great. Like, recently, it was fucking great. And I was like, thank God, finally. You know, like, finally, we can actually have sex. But then it turns out he's been thinking about me having sex with other people, which wasn't even happening. So I'm like, just get away from me. Like, just get away from me. Like,
it's... You see, you were born for, like, 15,000 miles from where I was born. I still hear the same stories everywhere. It's the same fucking story.
Yeah, because people are the same wherever you go.
Yeah, well, and getting together with somebody and having this trust built, and especially in today's climate, figuring out how the dynamics should go. It's the most complicated thing that I can think of.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know who to choose, and I don't know why, and based on what I should choose people. And
right.
What would be the perfect man then? Let's talk about this.
Well, I'm hoping to find him in the Netherlands.
You probably will.
To be honest, it's I hate to say it, but there are two reasons why I'm going to the Netherlands. And one is for work, and the other is for a partner. Because I have a very good feeling that I'm going to find somebody there.
It's very international there, so...
It is, and the Dutch people are just... The culture is more aligned with Californian culture.
Probably.
You know, like, we're really direct, and we, like, have inside jokes. We, like, find things... We, like, have... We're funny. We like to laugh. I don't feel like French people like to laugh. It's been very... And that's not to say, like... I wish it wasn't true. I honestly wish it wasn't true, because
the East is not fun. I agree.
It's really... It's sad.
It's not France in general, but it's the East.
Even, I don't know. Paris was the same. Lyon was kind of similar.
Lyon is kind of East, so... I mean, you're not...
But the country's not that big.
Do you?
You know what I mean?
That's 5 times bigger than my home country. So for me, the fact that you can travel 10 hours in the same direction and you're still paying with the same money is crazy.
Barely.
Okay.
Oh, well, same money, yeah, of course, but...
And you speak the same language. It's crazy. I can't do that. In 2 hours, you're outside of my country in either directions. It's so...
I think a lot of French people here would disagree and say that in Toulouse they speak a totally different French.
I was able to talk to everybody, and although I have an accent, and I went with a very charming girl, so that helps. But it's crazy. In February, I spent a couple of days with one of my earlier podcast guests, Anna, in the south of France, in Toulon, just to let off some steam, and we haven't seen each other for a while. And it was a lot of fun. She's really into going into the gym and bodybuilding, and she's one of the most intelligent women that I've ever seen. 3 languages she speaks. She's from Germany, but French, English. She has a very good English. French, English, and then Italian. it was like she's crazy funny, very good looking, 26 years old. It's like, and she's telling me the same story you do. It's like, where are the men? This is what bothers me so much. Yeah, where are the men?
It's very sad.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, to me, like, I really did think that I had found it with. I wanted somebody that is like caring, that's loving, that's empathetic.
Yes, that's very important.
And he, this shitty thing is because he's a kine, right? So he takes care of people. That's what he does.
A kine?
Yeah, he's a
therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he, like, when we were together for, like, he would say so much that how much it meant to him, to take care of these people. But he, like, could not take care of me. It was like a block. It was like when he got home, he had already taken care of people. He was drained. He would only take care of himself. He needed to read. He needed to write. He needed to play his harp. He needed to go on long walks alone without me there.
I could have told you never go out with a harpist. That's Sorry.
That was great. I actually loved the harp part. It was. I mean, it's beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful instrument.
It's very expensive though.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's crazy expensive.
And he's been playing since he was young, but it. Anyways, I wanted somebody that was empathetic, and I think that's been another issue that I have really seen with the culture here is that they don't have empathy. It's a huge problem. They have sympathy, right? But those are not the same thing.
Yeah.
Sympathy is when you feel bad for somebody, but you eventually stop feeling bad for them, and you're like, okay, get over it, right? Empathy is like being able to look at problems that person is facing as that person, not as yourself, as that person, right? And so we actually tried to go to couples therapy, which was, yeah.
You really tried.
I really tried.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I really tried. And the French therapist, God, I hate her so much. But the first seance we had together, she says, you guys are not meant for each other. She should go back to America and this would never work. So the sooner you break up, the better. Wow. Did that fuck everything up? Because Baptiste was like, you see what she said? And I'm like, what the fuck? Why are we even here? Like, why would you say that? That is not your role as a therapist. That is not your job.
It's not even in your interest.
No.
Don't you want them to come back?
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly. And I was like, I don't even want to go to the
Maybe
back
she honestly
to the US.
thought that was the case, but, it's... Yeah.
No, she's being racist. And again, it's like this mentality that, like, French and Americans can't be together. And it's possible. I don't know. But she was like, these cultures don't work together. So you should go back to the US. It's not going to happen. And I was like, wow, fuck you. Like, because we went to therapy and I kept telling him, I don't think this is a good therapist for us because she's not telling us, like, she's not helping us. Like, she's listening to me. She's trying to listen to you. And then she sends us on our way. And then we book another appointment. This isn't what we need. We need help. Like, we need actual help.
So few people know how to handle those.
Oh yeah. They pretend that they're actual therapists and they're not, and it's unfortunate. But anyways, the lack of empathy was a deal breaker because in reality, that is such a huge deal for Americans. It is such a huge deal for our culture, and they just don't have it here. And I've seen it over and over and over again with just people, like just people that live here. So that was obviously like another big disappointment for me about French culture. But anyways, the empathy is important. Yeah, the empathy is important. The humor is really important.
Yeah, the humor is weird.
Yeah, the humor is weird. There's a lot of puns.
I don't think it's something that they willingly are doing. It's not
really.
I think it's just in their culture because in the 70s they were like the leading culture of Europe after hundreds of years. Sure. I don't think it's something they want to do. I think it's something they do involuntarily. But I kind of agree with you, and this is becoming a French-hating podcast in the middle of Strasbourg, which is crazy because you're gonna go in a month, but I'm gonna stay. So it's And I like French people. They provided me with a lot of opportunities, and there's a shitload that I understand in their culture. The humor is not one of them. Would you be able
some
to
of their humor.
Would you be able to do a stand-up in French if you put your mind to it?
Yeah, I could.
I think I could too, but it wouldn't be the same jokes whatsoever. I don't think anything that I say on stage would work in French. I know what works in French, and it's puns. Puns
It's
work.
a lot of puns.
Yeah, a lot of puns, and
But puns are short and like to the point, so they don't really work for stand-up as much.
or you have to really write like 200.
Yeah, like you'd have to have a whole thing and then they're sprinkled in,
Yeah.
and that's like,
Nah,
it's kind of boring.
Too much work.
It's a lot of work, yeah. But I mean, I like. Do you know brut?
No.
Brut. It's like it's supposed to sound like brut, and it's supposed to be like brut, like the news. It's a BRUTE period, and it's this guy, and he does skits, and he's so fucking funny. Mm-hmm. And like he does, like one of my favorites is about cyclistes in Paris. It's like female cyclists, and like he's like they're. It's this woman, and she's talking about being a cyclist in Paris and how it's really difficult, and it's like it's sexist, and there's like guys like coming up to her and like talking to her, and she's just like, ugh, no, and some girl cuts her off, and she's like, connasse, c'est ton sororité, like, or she stopped at like a red light, and this bike hits her. And he's like, oh là là, tu es un Allemand, un connard. And she's like, le feu est rouge. Just like, you know, super, super good. And he has a ton of them. Like, he does them all the time. And he just got like a television show, I think. Like, he's going to be starting this year. But anyways, he's really funny. And I like him. And Baptiste showed him to me. And that's cool. I like that. But it's like skit humor. Mm-hmm. You know, I like that better. But some of their skits they're really old. You know, like I watched C'était de la peur, and I was not into that. But I think it's because they grew up watching it, and so that they're like, oh, this is like cult classic. Like,
yeah, that's not a new movie too.
No, it's really old, but they love it.
If you want something that has funny moments in it, you know, Intouchable, that's a good movie, for example.
I like OSS 77.
I haven't seen it.
What the fuck? How could you not see that? It's so good.
I work in production, and I have a problem with French production in general, and so I stay away from it. Really,
you should watch this.
Okay,
I promise.
Yeah,
you will like it. It's based off of 007, like a James Bond film, but he's French, and it's completely farce. Like it's just, and it's meant to be that way. So like, there's a scene where they have. You know, like where they'll do like the transitions, or like a girl comes in and they'll do like different. It's like the 60s. They'll do different like images, like big and small. Well, this one's like into thousands. It gets into like thousands of them because it's just meant to be stupid and bullshit.
Okay.
It's really funny. The Rio de Janeiro one, I think, is the best because there's like 3.
I'll ask you to send it to me afterwards. Cause,
it's really good.
But it sounds okay. Okay,
it's really fun, and it's really racist, and it's really sexist, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't mind those in jokes. It's looking at profiles on OkCupid or on Tinder, most women, like, I hate sexist jokes. It's a joke. If it's shit, okay, I understand you're not laughing at it, but it's a joke.
I'm okay if the joke is like blatantly sexist.
Yeah,
I don't like the jokes when they're like hidden sexism. Like Mike told me this joke recently. It did not go well, obviously. But he was like, what's hard and long and women don't have, right? And
tails.
What?
Tails? I don't know.
Men have and women don't. Men have and women don't. Sorry, I missed that part.
Tails.
It was military service.
Oh,
that joke is fucking sexist.
Yeah,
and it's like it's because
stupid.
It's stupid because it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna think it's a penis, but it's obviously not a penis.
That's the point, that it wants to take you to that point.
But like, it's not that. Like, the point is to make fun of women that they don't have to do military service and that men have to do it. And so like, women are lower than men because women don't have to do this and men do. And it's just like,
it's crazy, this whole feminism idea that comes, and I think it comes from the States. That really really surprises me, and I think. Maybe we should discuss this. I would be interested in your opinion, but I'm not sure if we should get into an argument because I have a very shit.
Well, you're from Hungary, so
I am, but I've been living here for a while, and one of
France
the reasons
is still bad.
Yes, but
clearly
so many
joke.
of my friends, especially my female friends, are unhappy following the doctrine that the feminist movement has been putting out for the last 20 years, and I'm all for feminism as long as it makes you happy. But the moment when it ruins your life to the point where you cannot trust men and you're still desiring them, but you're telling everybody to, I don't know, to go
off.
fuck themselves.
Yeah.
But you still desire them. You know, this dichotomy, I don't know what to do with this, and I see it so many times here. It's like, I don't want to I don't need anybody. It's like, okay, you still want to fuck them.
That's weird.
I mean,
that's sexist. For women to women to like just want to fuck men, that's sexist.
No, but even if they don't just want to fuck them, but you know, I think balance comes from the fact when you are, or from the state when you are, your biological entity is in balance with what you want and what you desire and what you can do, and so it's hard to negotiate all those things over all the platforms. But it's I have the impression they don't even try here, and so many of my friends, girls, late 20s, it's like, I don't give a fuck about it, man. It's like I can do everything by myself, but I'm so alone. It's like, because you're telling everybody you don't want them. It's like you want to be desired. Men want to be desired.
But see, that's also immaturity. I think that, I mean, men aren't. The problem with that feminist like movement, and I've seen it too. It's unfortunate because that's not what the fucking point is. You know, the point.
I don't think either.
The point is that like women and men are supposed to be equal, different, but equal. Men have completely different bodies. They have different ways of doing, different minds. They have different ways of processing information.
Sure.
So obviously we can't be the same. We're not the same. That's fine. What we do want is we don't want it to be a power issue. There should never be a power issue, right?
No, we want equal opportunity. If somebody wants to go to MotoGP as a woman, fucking let them do that.
Right.
Sure.
And I think that there is a line there. You know, I think that there needs to be certain expectations, right? Mm-hmm. Women cannot be expected to lift as much weight as men. As the best men. The best women can't be expected to lift as much weight as the best men. The best women can lift more weight than you know, can lift more weight than my ex, can, you know, like that can,
the majority
that's
of men, but the best of the men and the best of the women are not going to be
if they're going for the same thing, they're not the same. It's just is what it is. It's like, it has nothing to do with sexism. It has everything to do with evolution and biology. You can't change that.
Yeah, testosterone makes us stronger physically. And also live shorter lives.
Yes, that's true too. But when it comes down to dating, I mean, women, what I really hate is when women objectify men. Because that is so fucking sexist. And it is the opposite of what the whole movement is supposed to be about. Mm-hmm. Men, you should not be like, when men look at women and they walk down the street and they're eyeing them and objectifying them, that is the exact same thing as when women objectify men while they're walking down the street. And the idea that it's not the same to me is sexist. It is ridiculous.
Give me an instance where women objectify men. Because, you know...
I just had a stripper for my birthday. Ooh. A male stripper, and he was fucking great.
That was so much fun. I've been to a night like that. I watched the whole performance. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and he was fucking great. Yeah. You know, and I didn't want, and like,
you had a male stripper.
Fuck yeah, and he was dressed up like a cowboy. He had an American flag. It was so good. So good. It was so good. It was worth every penny. You know, but so like good. At the same time, like this is something. It's his choice. He wants to do that. He can do that.
Of course, it's a performance. It's theater.
Exactly. It's theater. But also, like, he put my hands on, like, on him and stuff. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? You know, like, you know, but he is doing that. I'm not going to do that, you know, because that's, like, it's with permission. It's supposed to be with permission. If you're at a restaurant, okay, and you have a male server that you think is really cute or something, you can't, like, grab his ass.
No.
You know, you can't touch his arm and like rub his arm, or you can't like ask for his phone number. You can't like do these things.
I think you can ask for his phone number, but you gotta be nice. It's like, yeah, I like you. Would you?
You have to be very careful with that.
Yeah, you have to be nice.
Because they are stuck there. They are working. They are not there for you.
Yeah. Do
you know what I mean?
And they are also meant to flirt with you in a way. Because they want tips.
And women do the same thing.
Of course.
But you can't do that to women either.
No, you're not going to touch anybody. Yeah. But it's like, if it goes well, you pay your bill at the end of the day. You go there, it's like, you know, I really like you. If you feel like it, here's my card.
Yeah.
You know, That's a nice way
exactly.
Yeah, and I don't think it shouldn't be done, but it's with a certain level of expectation, because what I find though, women are, and this is going to be the most sexist thing I'm going to say today, for sure.
Day's not over.
Women are generally really not used to rejection, and they take it so much harder than we do, because we are how should I say this?
Conditioned.
We are thank you. We are conditioned to tolerate it from a very young age. The moment when you're not useful for your family, like at the age of 12 or anything, that immense love that goes towards you, except for the side of your mother, goes away. And so you have to prove yourself over time, and eventually you're gonna fail. And so we're used to this. When I'm single, I approach 15 women a week.
Yeah.
Just nicely. I'm not trying to. That never. I don't know anybody that ever worked with, or I don't know if it would work.
It doesn't work.
I'm not sure I wouldn't want to go with the girl who's that works with.
Well, exactly. The women don't like the men. Like that.
No, and I like intellect, and I like so. But it's and the majority of it never comes together, because that's my role. And the first 15 times it hurts, because you think it's personal. Every single girl I rejected, though, they took it personally very fast. They are in their late 20s.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't understand that if I get to choose, or I mean, if you get to choose, I get to choose as well.
Yeah.
And it's not personal. It's just, maybe I'm not into what you have, or I'm not into your voice, for example, which you cannot change.
Which you can't change. Or I'm thinking about something else, or I'm not wanting it right now.
Yeah, I'm not available, or I have a shitload of things to do. Or it's like,
I don't have time right now. I'm interested in somebody else. I have like a sick parent. I have whatever the fuck. I mean, women are conditioned to let men down nicely. And I think that's,
really?
Yeah, okay. At least in the US. I don't know what it's like here, but women are taught not to say no, but to say, thank you, that's so sweet, but I not at this time. Like they are taught to not create waves and not become a problem. And because of that, there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of anger there now. Because from the side of women? From women.
Really?
Yes, because we've been conditioned to think that way and behave that way. So you just bury what you actually feel and how you actually think. Because men don't take that, like, normally they don't take that. Normally they're like, are you sure? Come on, baby. Like, they'll push. We are
also pushed to, we are conditioned to do that. Yes, of course.
Right. And it can get to a point where it is very uncomfortable. And like, I've had a man like follow me into a kitchen, like when I was a server, to give me his phone number and stuff. And like, he was like a friend of my boss's. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. Thank you. I don't know what to tell you. Like just horrible, absolutely fucking horrible. And it's happened. I mean, like throughout my life, it's been, wow. Like the amount of times that I have been in a situation where I've had to do something that I didn't want to do because there was no other way out, or I was alone with this person and there was no other way out, is alarming. It's pretty shocking. And so I understand the anger that women have when they're like, no, fuck you, no. Like, I don't need you. I'm good. But it's damage. That's damage. It's like, it's a heart damage. It's a head damage. It's an emotional damage. It needs to be healed, and it needs to be healed by the girl. And the problem is that most women don't see that. They take the anger, because anger comes from hurt. It doesn't come from actually being angry. Being angry is a symptom of being hurt and feeling scared. Yeah. And so you have to fix that first, and then you can stop being angry. Then you can look at a man and be like, thank you so much, but I'm not interested. Yeah. You can go now. Yeah, and and that's okay.
And that's okay. And you have to have a certain, you have to stand up for yourself. And I don't think women are really taught that.
Because they're not conditioned to think that way.
I know.
And so that's complicated, So then they do that instead. They lash out. They say they don't need a man, but in reality, they want one.
Of course.
They don't want to be taken advantage of. They don't want to be lectured to. They don't want to have that power dynamic issue. And to be honest, dating the guys here that I've seen, I wouldn't want to date them either right now. It's
seems to me we agree that it's a problem of education. It is.
Well, in therapy, I think that I went to a therapist for a very long time, for 3 years. And it helped me so much, like night and day. I could not be where I am now without my therapist. And most people just don't do that because they're like, oh no, that's people will think I'm crazy, or, people will think badly about me, or I'll think badly about myself, or my family will think badly about me. Or
I don't think we have that prejudice here.
That's lucky.
Not in my in circle of friends. Yeah, psychologist or psychiatrist?
Psychiatrist. She's also in training, but I think she's finally done now. But it was also really cheap. It was like $50.
Yeah, well,
a session.
Well, if there's anything that the payment system for the healthcare that works better here than what I saw in the States, as far as I saw it. But yeah, so that's one of. You have a carte vitale?
No, those.
Not even.
Well, no, I don't. No.
Okay, well then it doesn't apply to you whatsoever.
Yeah, apparently I was able to get one. No one told me I could. In fact, they told me I couldn't. And then
you have to push for these things. That's the French bureaucracy.
Yeah.
It's like when they tell you, no, it's gonna be 5 hours. Right now, I need help. Okay, 15 minutes. That's how it goes. And every single time I did that, helps. But granted, I'm a guy, and I'm like, if I want something, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. It seems like we are not teaching the next generation how to actually flirt or how to actually approach people, and so the women are lost and the guys are lost, and there's a lot of damage happening in between.
Definitely.
And I have no idea how to reconcile that. I've been thinking about it so much because I have a half brother who's now 18 years old, who desires to have the first girlfriend, and a bit of a geek and very tall and very slim, and he doesn't think he's very good looking, but I don't think that really matters at all.
Yeah, but being tall can get you pretty far.
Yes, and when you're intelligent and when you're sensitive, and when you have something to say, that really does help. When you're funny, that really does help as well. I mean, it always worked out for me, and I'm not, you see me. So I know where I qualify on the list, but it's like when you have a career that gives you a boost, when you're funny, that gives you a boost, when you can express yourself eloquently in several languages, that gives you a boost. Yeah. When you have read, when you have stuff to do, when you have friends around you, and there's a couple of things how you can build up yourself as a man. Yeah. My question is, how do you think women could do better in the current climate? I mean, but women are utterly interesting to me.
So how can women change in the current climate?
What could they do better with little effort?
I mean, I think, honestly, my biggest piece of advice is, like, going to a therapist. I cannot stress that enough. Although I'm not super confident in the French therapists anymore, I gotta say. I'm not. But it's important that you go to a therapist in your own language. So it's just that you have to find one that, like, that really gets it, that, like, gets you, that understands you. Like, my therapist was not, like, she's kind of hippie, and she's kind of like not me, like, I'm very, like, straight and narrow, and never really, I hate hippies, so. Oh, you're like Cartman. Okay. Totally. Okay. But she was just the perfect person for me because she taught me to, like, be more kind to myself. And I think that a lot of women just don't do that. Like, they don't treat themselves, like, they think that they are by, like, keeping themselves from things. That's not the same thing, like, all these women in my group, I would say like 80% of them moved here for a man because the man refused to leave and go to whatever country they're from. And each of those women has a power dynamic issue because their husband believes, or boyfriend or pax, whatever, believes that they are better than their spouse's family, country, language. So they demand that this woman speak French. Of course. That they get used to their life here, that they immerse here, and that they deal with the fact that they're never going to go home. And I think that that's like really fucked up. I think that, you know, it's unfortunate because it shouldn't be that way. You know, like each culture has something to offer. Each culture like has a wisdom that they have to offer. And
it's not very difficult to travel today. You know?
Well, with COVID it was, but yeah.
I get that. But,
right.
If you're earning enough money, it's like, okay, spend 3 months, a year somewhere else.
Yeah, totally.
Fine. It's doable. You can work, and COVID helped us developing this situation where you can work at a distance.
Yeah.
It's like...
Well, even going home for like, you know, a couple weeks, a year, or being okay with your spouse leaving, you know, because they can't work here.
Okay.
You know, even if they are allowed a work permit, they're foreign, and so no one hires them. So most of them have to go into working at the creche. Yeah.
Okay.
Working at the creche, working at as a restaurant, working in Germany, working, you know, not here. And it makes it very difficult. So
I had no idea that it was this hard for you guys to work.
It is. Okay. It is. It's very difficult. You know, French culture really wants you to understand French in a way that's native speaking.
Yeah,
and
I know.
It's unfortunate because it's not, I mean, who the fuck cares? I mean, really, like, in the future, it's going to be it's not important. Like, when you leave this country and you go into Germany, no one speaks French there.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Switzerland, no one speaks French there. I mean, some people actually do. It's not true.
Well, there are territories, but yeah, you have a 5-kilometer radius around the border, and after that, nothing.
And they're
but everybody
mad.
speaks English, by the way.
Like, when I was in Basel, I tried to speak French, and they were like, no French. And I'm like, okay, do you speak English? Like, yeah, we speak English. I'm like, okay, cool.
Well,
so we're
my English
like,
is fine.
They were angry at me for trying to speak French with them. Yeah, like they were like, no French here. And I'm like, okay, English. They're like, yeah, okay, English. I'm like, okay, everything's fine.
Everything's fine. I can do that.
Like, I was shocked. I was like, wow, that's a lot of anger. Okay. But I think it's because a lot of French people go to these areas. Spain, same thing. No French. English, maybe, but mostly Spanish. You go to these places, and French go to these places, Amsterdam included, and they demand that everyone speaks French.
Yeah.
And no one speaks French.
Yeah,
and then they get pissed. And then the people get pissed at them. And then they know that the second they're like, oh, you're French? Fuck you. Immediately. No one wants that. You know, the French don't want it.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's
stupid.
really weird.
It's crazy that they don't speak English, though. Don't you find it that it's so close to the English logic? I mean, that's the same logic drives the two languages pretty much. French is a bit more ancient, but otherwise, you know, when I came, I mean, Hungarian has nothing to do with either of these.
Okay.
And so when I started speaking English, it's like, especially at the beginning, if you want to start learning a foreign language, English is an easy one. Because even by mistake, you can make correct sentences.
Yeah.
In French, that does not happen. No conjugation, no conjugation, no. If you don't know the right order of words, you're fucked.
Yeah.
In English, you know, it's more or less tolerated. I mean, we are able to have a conversation right now after all these years, but my English is nowhere close to be perfect. And it's never gonna be. Because it just
doesn't have to be, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because you have the same level of you have this level of tolerance that you just want to figure out what I'm trying to say and then respond to that. The French don't have that for some reason, and it's driving me crazy. So I had to learn French really well, and I had a job interview last Tuesday, for example, for this, and I was like, for somebody who writes articles and scientific and everything, and I should edit a podcast, and I was like, I think the one thing that I wouldn't be able to do well is my French is not like a native French, so I would send the text back to you because it's your language. She's like, yeah, maybe we could figure it out, but there's 60 other people who applied for the same job, so yeah, and I was like, okay, all right, then it is what it is.
It's just that they don't see the virtue in hiring foreigners, and I think that is so short-sighted because
I think it is. Yeah.
Foreigners different cultures bring so much like wealth of knowledge and a difference in understanding and a difference in how you process information. And the French are so far behind in their economy, in technology, you know, like, and yet you have like he's like, oh, this, like, we want to work with this company in the US. Like, can you help me write this email to them? And I'm like, I can, but you're going to have to tell them what you're trying to do. He's like, well, I can't do that. I'm like, well, they're not going to help you.
Yeah, because it's,
you know, they're not just going to give you their products.
Would you do the same thing backwards if somebody wrote to you from the States and you wouldn't. It's stupid. And
it's also like there's just a difference. It is. It's like
right.
You should give this to us because we're from a big company and we're going to use it in a great way, but we can't tell you what it is. And maybe down the line we'll share like what we're doing with it. Yeah,
China, not exactly. We are the Western culture, so we should share.
And the French especially don't have a great relationship with the U.S., so it's
really?
like not in this way, like not on a foreign affairs, foreign relations level. Yes, we have a good relationship, but on a social level, no, we do not have a good relationship because Americans think French people are arrogant and rude, and they appear arrogant and rude, and so that's it. You know, I mean, I also, especially when you get into like Republicans. They fucking hate French people. And it gets to a point where, like, I had some French friends come a couple years ago. Baptiste came, and then my friends Alice and her boyfriend and his friend came. And we had a 4th of July party at a friend's house. And I got in a fight because, as I do, because this freaking girl who's a Republican was bad-mouthing them. Really? She was like, why are French people here? Like, don't they have anything better to do? Like, they're so gross. And I was like, what did you just say? And she was like, what? And I'm like, what? I'm sorry. Maybe I misheard you. What did you just say? She was like, well, I'm just, like, who even invited them? And I'm like, I did. I invited them. I'm like, have they done anything to you? And she's like, well, no. And I'm like, are they a problem for you? Are they drinking too much for you? Are they eating too much of your food? Is there an issue? She's like, no, it's not that. I'm like, then what's the fucking problem?
They smell cheese. They smell like cheese.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just because she was being racist.
Yeah.
And there's always that moment too, like I do it too because sometimes French people piss me off.
We have been doing that for an
just
hour and
sometimes,
a half, so it's fine.
But like where you'll just bring up World War II.
Of course.
Just in the back pocket, there you go, but like it's a normal joke. I hear it all the time in television shows that like, oh, the French, they surrendered, or they showed the white flag, or like constant. And it's just it's part of our culture. It's part of our culture, and it's kind of sad, but at the same time, now that I've lived here for so long, I'm like, you know what? You guys deserve it. Fuck you.
You reminded me of something about this is something that I would love to hear your opinion about, if we still have the time for this. The superficiality of California that I heard so much about. I've never been there, so I'm not gonna talk about it because I don't know shit.
Okay.
But it's so weird coming from you. Because I would have thought that for people there, it's normal. But you're not there anymore. Right.
Well, I was born in Northern California. And Northern California and Southern California are very different from each other. So is Central California, to be honest.
Like in France.
Yeah, it is. It's more superficial down in Southern California.
Yeah.
Than it is in Northern California. And it has a lot to do with the weather. It's sunnier there. And so you have a lot more people that are tan, blonde, really interested in their bodies.
Yeah.
Really interested in their bodies. And Los Angeles is down there. So you have, like, all the celebrities are there. People that want to look like celebrities are there.
Hollywood that all the planet knows.
Yeah, and Hollywood is really dirty and gross. I want to make that very clear. Everyone tries to go there, and they're like, oh, Hollywood. And I'm like, it's gross. Okay. You can go, but it's going to be gross and smell bad. Like, it looks nice on TV, but it's not actually nice. I mean, so I think to me it was also the company I was working for, because I was working in digital marketing. There's a lot of digital marketing firms in San Diego. And digital marketing is like the type that I was doing, and the type that's there is essentially fake news. I mean, it's essentially like creating fake news, creating clickbait so that you can trick people into buying something that doesn't work. And that is so like shallow and like underhanded, and it was so gross to me. And so the people that I was around all the time were like that. It was really important that we went to Vegas and went to Barcelona and went to all these places and had the best club tables and spent thousands of dollars and had like confetti and like big fireworks and all of these things. This was so fucking important, you know? And
this is nothing.
It's fucking nothing. It means absolutely nothing. And having women there that didn't work, I was the only one that like really had an actual job.
Okay.
They were either paid to be there or they were like just kind of joining and all of their things were paid for while they were there.
Okay.
Or their job was to look beautiful and not speak.
I know women like that, yeah.
And that was their whole job, was to flirt and look beautiful and get people to do contracts, but not actually have anything in your mind, you know? And so I didn't do well with that at all.
I'm not surprised.
It's
difficult to be around people like that.
Yeah. So
some of them get out of it, but it's very rare. And I've never heard anybody who came out of it happy. Which brings to us my last question. Are you happy?
Right now, yes, actually. I feel like there's so much like ahead of me right now. I'm really, really stoked about it. Like I'm really excited about my move. I'm really excited about the job prospects. I'm finally going to be able to work again. I have not worked since I left that job. The digital marketing ones, that was back in 2019. Like I haven't had a real job since then. And like that is so, for me, like the type of personality that I have, it is very difficult for me not to have a project, which is why I had the girls group and stuff. But fuck, girls suck. I mean, really, like...
I'm so glad you said that.
I have had so many women try to take over my group or try to attack me. Yeah, try to attack me personally for like, you know, just for so stupid shit. And I'm like, make your own group. Make your own group. I do this for free. I do this for fun. I do this because I want women to have a good experience here. And there have been so many women that are just the worst. And oh
my God. Okay.
I'm never doing it again. I wish I could close it. And I can't because there are too many women a part of it now. But I'm moving away from it, so they're going to be on their own. I'm like, you're on your own, guys.
That's shocking, because you have created a community that you actually were looking for. Apparently, it wasn't what you were looking for.
I mean, it is the women that I'm talking about. There's been 3 of them, and that's
out of 400. That's a cycle ratio. So.
Yeah, it's about 250 because I think I've at this point gotten rid of a bunch of the girls that I was like, no,
less than 1%.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it is. But it's like they're so
I know.
specific and they're very motivated.
And vicious.
They're vicious. And so they're like messaging everyone and trying to like pull them away. They're like getting girls together and like talking shit that like things that have never happened. And then all the girls are like, why is she saying this about you? And I'm like, oh, good Lord, I do not have time for this in my life.
My God.
You know, shit like that. And I'm like, why did I even do this? But I keep it up, and there are some really great girls. I have about 15 girls that I absolutely love. You know, I really, really love them, and that's a lot. You know, that's a lot. So I'm happy about that. I'm proud of what I've done here, of what I've accomplished here.
I would offer, but you won't.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. And I'm really, really happy to be leaving these men behind. You know, I don't want to ever have to talk, you know, to these guys again. I don't want to deal with it again. I'm really excited for the next chapter.
Next chapter. Yeah.
Really
I know the feeling. It's it sounds like you know exactly what you want, and it's very inspiring to actually see
Hopefully.
that. I remember very well when something similar happened to me, and hope is something. It's such an abstract concept that we can clinch onto it, and it helps. It helps a lot to move forward. Actually, when you have a very clear goal in your mind, it's like fuck this, move away from here and go somewhere else. And it's it's gonna be fun. I hope it's gonna turn out great.
I hope so too.
My sadness is that we're not gonna see you on stage anymore.
Oh, I'll be back.
Yeah, well,
it's not that far. It's like 6 hours. It's like that to me is nothing. I would do that in a weekend. You know, it's and I have like my best friend is here with her son, and I'm like his aunt, so I'm not gonna like be gone. She's fucking devastated. So, I mean...
yeah, but you gotta live your life.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't live your life for
and that's
you,
the thing, is there are so many women, too, that I think just... They're scared of change, you know?
So many people in general are scared of change.
Oh, yeah. I'm just talking about, like, the women in this group. Right, but you're right. People in general are scared of change. Obviously, these men that I've been with could not even fathom the idea of being in Amsterdam because it's too far away. And I'm like, it's 6 hours.
It's 6 hours, it's fine.
6 hours.
Yeah.
It's not that far. Yeah, but like, what am I going to do? What the hell do you think I did while I was here? Like, figure it the fuck out. Anyways, so...
Yeah, it's not for everybody, that's
no,
for sure.
It's not for everyone. But the thing, what I was going to say is that the girls that are around me are really... like upset that I'm leaving, you know. They're like, well,
but that's a good thing because it means that you made a positive impact, and
right. And I think they're worried for themselves, you know, like they're worried about what's going to happen to them because they aren't going to have me here anymore. And the thing is like, that to me makes me want to leave even more because not because I don't want to be that person for them, but because they need to realize that they can stand on their own.
Yeah,
that they don't need me. That I was just here and I'm passing through and they don't need me. They can do it by themselves. And it's always an important thing.
It's a nice sentiment, but some people want to hold on to others. And I see your point because I left several times, and every single time I organized a party. I was supposed to leave mid-January for another job.
Right, you keep saying you're going to go. And now you're saying you're staying again.
And then the Ukraine conflict happened.
Oh yeah, fuck them.
And
not them, but
Putin,
fuck Russia.
Fuck that in general, because war is. Yeah, we really didn't need this.
No, we didn't. It's fucking up everything.
It's crazy. It's crazy that we have a war in Europe. But anyway, so what happened is that I was hired on several supports, and they all pulled back at the last minute, and then I'm here in the middle of the development cycle of video games. Mm-hmm. The next one starts around August, so until June, I'm not gonna get anything. And it's, you know, I prepared. I said goodbye to everybody.
Shit.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I was looking forward to it because I realized the same thing you did. It's like, moving once more. It's gonna be fine. I want a relationship in English, and so I was like, they're gonna hire me in Britain. I looked at. I even started chatting with girls there on Tinder. It's like, I'll be there in 3 weeks.
Shit.
Ooh. That didn't fucking happen.
Is it because of the influx of refugees? Or why did they pull back on their offers? Like, did they say?
Some of them didn't. For some of them, I wasn't good on the third interview. So what happens is that normally when you interview for such a job is that first they measure you as a person, so that you just talk to whoever is going to be responsible of you. And then you do a demo job, which I do fantastically most of the time because I pay attention to what I do and I do what I do very well. And then the third one is that you talk to the team. And we don't know each other that well. But I'm sure you guessed. I have a very, how should I say this? I have a very crisp personality.
Direct.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And so when there was something I disagreed with on a job interview, I said it.
Okay.
It was like, this is not how it should go.
Mm.
And you're not doing a good enough job. And I could do twice as good in half the time.
Yikes.
And they were which is not a good way to. And so I think they were like, okay, so we'll see who else is available. And also I work so my work is very expensive, and I'm from France, so I would have to move, for which they would have to help. It's an additional cost for the company. So when the war came and they were like, oh, everything's going to shit, we don't have any money left. And then they are going to take somebody for half as much as money, half as good of a job, but the job is going to still be done instead of taking somebody who's a senior.
I see.
Yeah, so it's a bit complicated. I have gotten job offerings from the States, but moving there right now, that would be way more complicated with the family situation that I have here. So
right, of course.
It's not a good couple of months, to be honest. But it's fine. It's I'll find something as usual. It's this is kind of what our generation has to figure out is how to survive in such a malleable.
Things constantly going to shit.
It's not just that they change so fast. It's crazy. And try to explain that to the previous generation. They don't understand it.
No,
it's like there's I could go be a host or a hostess or I don't know, serveur somewhere. But it's I'm 36.
Yeah.
Where
I can't.
Do I want to do that for 25 years?
Yeah.
You could do that in black.
I could work black, but then I have no rights.
Yeah. Is this what you want? No.
Like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So.
Plus, the restaurants and bars here are so dirty.
Well, everywhere they are dirty. It's
not in the U.S.
Really?
I mean, some of them, sure, but the standards are normally pretty high because they're supposed to be. Like, we have like actual people that check it. It's not like here where if you have mice, it's like, oh, everyone has mice. Like, absolutely not. Like, you're never.
Oh no, we never had that in where I worked.
Well, I've seen them in Académie de la Bière, and like all like, oh yeah.
But you are ruining my favorite place.
Well, I still go there. Fuck it.
But me too. But oh my god, they had mice.
Yeah, I saw one. You know, you know the one near Petit France.
That's my favorite.
Yeah,
right
me
here.
too. Right. So it's like they have like that light above where you can see. Anyways, there's a little mouse like walking across it, and I was like,
Seriously?
Yeah, the kitchen's right there. So I was walking from the kitchen on the light. And I talked to the people. I'm like, there's like a mouse, and they're like, oh yeah, like everyone has mice.
Yeah, that's François.
Yeah.
Like, what?
And I was like, what do you mean everyone has mice? They're like, everyone does, and they're right because I've seen them at other restaurants too.
Anywhere where I worked, this wasn't the case. But
ugh, it's gross.
Oh, that is gross.
Real bad.
But I like their food. That's the problem.
I like it because their burgers, like their cheeseburgers, are cheap, and cheeseburgers are supposed to be cheap.
Yeah.
If I ever see a cheeseburger over $10, I'm like, fuck you, fuck off. That's not the point.
Yeah, but it's like try to get a camembert at North Carolina. It's not gonna happen.
Well, no, because we pasteurize all our cheese.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. It took me some time. But that's exactly the point. It's like you get to have that's one of the things why it's worthy to travel. You get to talk to different mindsets of people, which is not that different, but some of it. Listen to different music, get different clothes, eat different food. That's it. Everything else is the same. Well, cars are somewhat different in some places, but that's it.
Well,
it's crazy,
according to like where they are, because like here, like you could not have like I could never bring my Ford Mustang here. Like
you have a Ford Mustang.
I had to sell it. I don't like talking about it.
Which generation?
It was a 2015 convertible.
Oh my god!
It was so nice. I miss it so much.
V6 or V8?
It was a V6, but it still was so loud.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, and it was so fast.
That's a big car, also.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Oh god,
I have some beautiful pictures of it. Just to remind me, I actually bought it for my ex. Like, not for him.
What?
But, like, I bought it so that, like, when he came, we could drive up the coast with a convertible so he could have, like, a good experience. It was great. We had a really good time, though.
How?
But fuck him.
Yeah. You have been spending time with the wrong people.
I know, right?
You are selling yourself as the best girlfriend ever. It's not like I moved to a different country. I learned.
I sold my Ford Mustang.
I fucking bought you a car. You understand, motherfucker? Nobody ever bought me a convertible, especially not a Ford Mustang.
Yeah,
my God,
it was super nice. He put a hole in the interior with his bike. I was really pissed.
I hate your ex.
I know, right? I was like,
a hole in the interior with the bike.
Yeah, because he put the bike in the back. Yeah, and then he like wasn't paying attention, and like something was like sharp on it, and he like lifted it up, and it just like shot right through the seat, and I was like, and then he just kept pulling, and I was like, stop pulling, just leave it. Just give me a second. Oh my god, it was horrifying.
I think your exes were worse than my exes, and I had pretty fucking horrible experience.
The car is what does it.
Yeah, no, not the car. Well, I bought a car for my ex, but it's that wasn't as fancy. So it was like, yeah, fucking break it. Doesn't matter. You don't know how to drive a stick shift, so it's just like, I have to pull on you'll figure it out. Yeah, it's horrifying. Yeah,
that was a fun car to drive.
Oh my god, yeah, it's I have never driven one. I had friends who had one, but I'm sure. Oh my god,
it's fun. But here, like the cars are so lame.
No character.
No, they're so little. Like they don't make any sound. I mean,
in the city.
My big thing was like having. So like I used to drive my cars, my boss's cars, and one of my bosses had this amazing Jeep. It was, I can't even really remember like the exact thing because it was a very specialized Jeep. It wasn't like a Wrangler. It was a Jeep Cherokee, but it was very specialized. And so when you hit the gas, oh my god, it was like vroom, like down, and it would go 0 to 100 like that.
Oh my god!
So going and the freeways in the U.S. are sublime, right? There's like 5 lanes. Yeah. You can just like go in and out. Like it's encouraged, kind of. Because you have other people that are also doing it, so it's like a game. And like you're like, I'm in front of you now, like not for long, and then it gets this whole thing. And so when I was driving that car, like, oh my god, I was going like 120, which I know is not the same in kilometers. I don't know what it is in kilometers.
What? How much did you say?
120, like 120.
120 is like 180 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, anyways, I watch MotoGP.
Good, great, that helps me. But anyways, so I'm like, I would just like put my pedal down, and then people would just get out of my way because they could hear the car coming. Oh my god! Yeah. The sound system. Oof. I play some like NorCal hip hop.
Oh my god!
Going 120 on the freeway. So
I would have never taken you for somebody who enjoys cars this much, but it's interesting. No, don't worry about it. You dare to have a life outside my podcast? What the fuck is wrong with you? There's not a lot of time left for us.
Okay.
I have a birthday to attend to, a 30th one, and it's not mine, so I have to be nice and
That's why I had the stripper. It's for my 30th birthday. So if they don't have a stripper,
I think she
then
would fucking kick me out. You saw her. That would be fucking weird.
Okay.
It's so yeah. It's crazy. I don't even remember what we talked about. But what really bothers me, we should have done this a year ago.
I know.
It was so much more fun. I'm sorry. I have
no
idea.
This isn't fun.
I'm having fun, and as long as I'm having fun,
okay.
Don't give a fuck about anything else.
Fun.
Maybe we are not going to post any of this online for the public. But you're gonna have the link. You get to watch this fantastic conversation that you get. Yeah.
No, it's been good. Mushrooms don't work on me, but the cookies are nice because they make me giggle.
Yeah, because they're not giggly enough by default. Yes,
right?
yes, that's one of your problems.
Actually, no, the issue was that I dealt with a French person that was really fucking annoying, but thank God I was on these cookies, because if I had not been on these cookies, I would have gotten in a fight, but instead I was just like, okay.
It's so sad. You could have been such a nice addition to my group of friends before. Seriously, you would enjoy them so much, because they are not annoying, they are nice, they are, well, maybe their English sucks, like, but some of them, it's everybody around me is nice. Everybody's friendly, and it's I have no idea, because your outgoing personality that doesn't show me that I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know how to solve this. I don't have many friends. But everything that you show is like, yeah, all's good, and so I didn't think to invite you.
I think it's important to show that, though. Well, because if I was sad all the time, I'd be a French person.
No, then you would be a French person.
Exactly. Yelling at bikes. God, I hate the bikes.
Do you want still more people to join your group? Where could we find you? Where could I plug you into the whole thing to end this in some nicer manner? You don't want to be found ever.
No.
I shouldn't even write your family name on the whole fucking episode. Then
no.
Okay.
No, I'm good. My girls group is I'm not going to be running it anymore. So it's like there's no point. It has like 1 month left of life, and then it's going to be kaput.
We will never see you on stage anymore. So there's no point of making advertisements for you. Yeah, that was nice. Thank you.
Yeah. So. Although I would like to say it's called Girls Gone World Wild, which I thought was really fucking funny and smart and witty. Because it's like Girls Gone Wild, but it's Girls Gone World Wild. I thought it was really entertaining. And at the time I was in fight with another group called Girls Gone International. They suck. Okay? And so I made my name Girls Gone World Wild to fuck them and also be close to Girls Gone Wild.
and you're surprised why other girls want to take over your position? It's like
I started my own group. That was the thing. I was like, see, I did it. You do it. Nope.
No.
Nope.
Do you still think, after all these years of therapy, do you still think that the majority of things that you are capable of doing could be replaced by somebody else? No.
No.
That's the point.
No, I'm unique.
I have 13 minutes left. What's the goal of life? What's the meaning of life for you?
To find contentment.
I don't even know how to spell that, so that's gonna be difficult to write.
Well, I would say like to be happy, but I feel like happy is really fleeting. It's like you can be happy for a second, but you can't be happy forever.
No. You can have joy. You can have joy.
That's true.
Yeah, happiness is a state. Many people don't seem to understand this, and I just had one of my students had this problem, and we discussed this. No, being happy is a state of mind.
Yeah,
you can be sad and happy at the same time.
Right, but it's also fleeting. I don't think that you can be like.
Fleeting. Oh.
Yeah, like I feel like you're like, oh, I'm so happy, and like the next second you can be happy too.
That's
but
joy.
Like after that, it's like you're done. It's done. Like
when you're happy, you're present. That's what I see.
Yeah, but you can't be present all the time. Is what I'm saying.
Yes,
I'm saying that the goal of life of my life.
Yes, you can.
I disagree.
Okay. Really?
Yes.
And we are at the most important subject of our entire thing after 3 hours. 3 hours.
But I think at the end of my life, I just want to be content. And that means that I will have done lots of things, right? But my goal in life is at the end of it to be content. So.
I should have tried to write a song with you. That would have been so much fun. So fun. Because I have all the tools for this whole shit, and I always invite people to do that. And they were like, writing a song, it's so difficult. Not for me, motherfucker. I've been doing it for 15 years.
I've actually written songs. And I sing.
You?
Yes, I do. But I can't right now because something happened to my voice like 6 months ago.
Puberty.
Was it 6 months ago?
It was a good
Maybe.
Job. It was a good.
I don't know.
Sorry.
But like I got like a throat, like I had an issue, and then I got another issue. So like I had this American guy came that I knew, and we slept together, and he gave me.
You're not a virgin.
I know it's crazy, right? So crazy. Not 75 men yet, though. Not getting there.
Virgin podcast. What the fuck are you talking about?
But he gave me what's it called? What the hell's wrong with me? Like in this, it's really common in the States. They call it like angine here or something, strep throat. But it's like it's not here. Mm-hmm. You do not have strep throat here. It is amazing, thank God, because in the States I would get it at least once a year. And it, like, what it is like, it's completely, like, swells up, and there's, like, it's just really gross, and you can't swallow, and it's horrible. It's really, really painful. You have to have antibiotics to get rid of it. Oof. Since I moved here, I haven't had it. Mm-hmm. And then this fucking guy comes from the States. He comes here, and he gives it to me. Fucker. He didn't have it. Like, he just had it in his throat. And because we were kissing and stuff, I got it. Fucker. And so, anyways, I get this. It's horrible. It completely damages my vocal cords. And my voice has never been the same. Well, and that's the thing is, like, I only have my voice and, like, what I've written, so I don't have any, like...
Piano is very easy. It's very easy.
Guitar or anything to
guitar
it.
is
because it's kind of jazzy. It's like
I don't
jazz.
think we have the jazz.
Yeah.
Maybe we should talk about that. I would love to listen to what you think is jazzy and what I think is jazzy.
Well, it's like...
I had 20 years of studies of what's jazzy. And I'm an asshole, you know me, so
I get it.
Yeah. But so it's no black metal whatsoever.
I'm sorry, no. I told you my voice. I can't scream.
We have been talking for over 3 hours.
Good for us.
It's crazy. I think we could have done 2 more hours easy. But I have the birthday.
No, it's fine. Birthday. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for accepting my invitation. It's it was. Of course. It's not of course. I'm an asshole. Everybody knows that. Sometimes I'm funny, but most of the time I'm not. It's
good to get to know you better, though.
It was fun.
Instead of the short periods of time that I see you between you doing comedy and you hitting on lots of girls. There's about a 10-minute window there.
Not much, though. Let's be honest.